You're in bad trouble. He's burning. The bedspread beside you is
but
burning.
My husband, what you don't understand is how much I loved him.
I understand that you love him. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that you love him.
To try to get
I don't doubt that you love. Something else happened.
Now it's like you're saying I'm lying about everything, and I don't like to feel that way.
I'll say it.
This is Tara Pouchet, a wife who seems like a victim until police realise that she's a stone-cold killer. Around 5 a.m. on January 27, 2003, emergency personnel respond to a house fire near Sugar Land, Texas. Police find Tara, who claims to have just barely escaped the home. When the fire is extinguished, officers discover the body of Tara's husband, 38-year-old Sterling Pouchet, a quadriplegic Army veteran who'd been paralyzed while on active duty. Tara tells investigators she tried to pull Sterling out of the fire, but couldn't save him. Detectives notice that Tara doesn't seem that upset about her husband's death. Then fire investigators determine the blaze was the result of arson. Needing to uncover if Tara killed her husband, and, if so, why, detectives haul her down to the station for a formal police interrogation. Before police crack this twisted true crime case, they'll find themselves in a game of cat and mouse with a killer who thinks playing the victim will let her get away with anything.
Did you bring glasses?
You know what? I never had asked me last time I went to the post office, but I do have it this time.
I hope you're not a typer. You're going to get frustrated if you are. I'm not. It's not that bad, no. It's not that bad. You were born in Louisiana?
No, my husband was. Well, he was born in Brooklyn, moved to New Orleans. I was born in Louisiana.
Okay.
I've been here all my life.
Where are you living right now?
I'm living at Angie and
You know the address?
I know it's West Club Lane, but I don't know the physical address. But it's West Club Lane, which is off of Dairy Ashford and 90.
It's an apartment?
No, it's a house.
What school do you have? Did you graduate?
High school and college.
How many years ago?
13.
Obviously you can read my thing or fine.
Yeah, I just can't type.
I'll get better, I promise you. So all you handle is adoption cases or that type of cases?
I do a lot of personal injury, family law. I don't really do a lot of, too much criminal really at all.
He's he's my, you know, my son's dad in Sterling too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's working on my case.
Apartment, right?
Yeah, he's working on my case of getting full custody from him.
Those are always a lot of fun, aren't they?
Yeah, so we're pretty close now, so I get started late.
Problem here. All right, because you know this is the sheriff's office, not the fire marshal.
Oh, I know.
Fire marshal.
I
Okay.
know.
You know, I couldn't figure out why couldn't she go to get here? I was wait a second. She came to fire
I
marshal.
went to the fire department first.
That's no big deal. Give a card.
But I have been here before. But my husband. So, but I didn't realize it until I walked into the door. I said, I have came over here before.
We're not recording.
Hmm?
It was, but we were not.
Oh,
Oh. I clicked it on and it came in. I guess we'll start. We're not going to go back like the fire marshal did.
okay.
You can talk faster than I can type.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to say, hold up, and we'll go from there. And
Okay.
I'm just going to take down an affidavit
Okay.
on what happened let's start like Saturday night.
Okay. So you don't want me to go back to Friday? No. Okay.
Nah, we'll go, not Saturday night, Sunday night. Let me think the best way. Tell you what, we'll start, is it Monday morning, right?
Like,
Monday morning was the morning the fire happened.
right, about 5 something? You want to
Yeah, we'll start when you woke up. And then
Okay.
we'll go back in the old history a little bit.
Back into
Cool.
back to Friday, or just,
Yeah.
okay, okay, go ahead.
Okay. You know the review run, the date?
Of the fire?
Yes.
The 27th. No, it was, Monday? Yeah, it was Monday.
So what time do you think you woke up?
Probably about 5:15, maybe 5:30.
That's when you originally got out of bed.
Yeah, that's when I originally I think, yeah. Because I don't want to go too fast, so just stop me.
So you got up at 5:15, around 5:15.
Yeah, pretty much.
What for?
Well, because she called me. Well, actually, if you want to go back, I got up at 4 something because I wanted to lay on the couch because I needed to get my son up from Shauna's house because that's where he's been tonight. And the phone rings really loud, so I wanted to be in the living room so I wouldn't wake him up. So I was kind of sat on the couch to make sure that I wouldn't fall asleep, and I did anyway.
So you got up that early to basically wait for a phone call
Right. From
you said
Shauna Harmon.
And Sean, that's just a friend, really, right?
No, that's my son's aunt,
Okay, all right. And your son's name is,
Sterling Harmon.
why did they call him Trey too?
Because he's a third.
I got
His
you.
dad is a junior.
Ah, okay, gotcha. If I remember right, you didn't know if you were gonna, you said you didn't know if you were gonna have to go pick him up or not. That's
Yeah,
what the call's all about, that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she was going to meet me halfway or have me come all the way over in bed. So she gets up every morning, 6:30, and she works at a school.
Rolling now,
But those are usually the work type of,
Yeah.
then it would be the other type.
You saw all these red things on here, you'd say, oh my God, he's not rolling.
I
Want one?
I have a
Get one.
cold. My throat is so dry from, I've caught all this trees.
Let me go get one.
Please.
It's one of those big Luby's mints, though.
Those long, are they the soft
Yeah,
ones?
yeah, that's a soft one.
Anything will do.
Let me get one.
That'll be fine.
I like it.
You just drink that.
You like diet?
No,
You drink diet for a while, you can't go back.
I know, I heard.
When I was about 16, 17.
You started drinking Diet Coke? Oh my God. That's why you're small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love Coke too. I drink a lot of Coke, but I don't drink Diet Coke. But as much Coke as I do drink, I should drink Diet Coke. And I don't like caffeine Coke
Like
either.
11 teaspoons.
And they've made
Sugar.
millions of kinds of Coke since then.
Mm-hmm.
Like that vanilla Coke, and that I like cherry Coke. I don't like vanilla Coke. I like Coke, period. Diet Coke, I don't know. Okay, thank you.
That's a.
I remember being on my grandmother used to eat these things.
No bad boys work. Okay, so you lay down on the couch to wait for that call.
Mm-hmm.
You were trying to keep it home, waiting on Sterling, right?
Yeah, I used to keep the cordless phone with me in the bed, just for whatever reason.
Husband's name is Sterling Boucher, correct?
Yeah, no middle name.
Oh, he didn't have a middle name at all?
Mm-mm, I've never heard of that. I know about 7 stones. Yeah, Sterling Harmon, Sterling Boucher, Sterling Boucher. 2 grandfathers named Sterling.
You'll marry another Sterling?
No, I'm
You're done with Sterling.
I'm done with Sterling. I don't think that, well, there'll never be another Sterling Boucher, but I'm done with all Sterling Harmon. Anything with the last name Harmon.
He had actually called, said something to you earlier, right?
Before.
Yeah, he woke up around 5 something, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's when he called me then. I didn't hear from him until after I went to the couch. Because he was asleep before that time.
You're gonna say around 5 a.m. You're guessing around 5
I'm
a.m.
thinking, yeah, but definitely before 6.
What happened at 5 a.m.?
Well, I was laying on the couch sleeping. I fell asleep. And I smelled smoke, and I thought I was dreaming, because I know that he smokes sometimes between those hours, because he stays up late watching TV, black and white movies. And I lay back down. I said, well, he's probably just smoking a black and mild or something. Then I woke up again because it just seemed like the smell was a little bit stronger. So,
You okay?
no, go ahead.
You said he sometimes smoked early in the morning. How'd you put that?
Say it again.
You said he sometimes smokes early?
Well, yeah, sometimes, like, because the candle and his things that he smoked always stayed with him by the bed, sometimes he would wake up, because sometimes his thing was, it stopped the spasms that he had really bad. So sometimes he'll just reach over and smoke. It just depends. He spasms all through the night, but sometimes he'll smoke all through the night. It just depends. So I guess you can just say,
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just describe Sterling right now, if we haven't done that yet.
okay,
He's a quadriplegic, correct?
quadriplegic, C4.
How many times am I gonna type quadriplegic this time? I typed it at least 5 times before I got it down.
It's a long word, actually. Yeah, I've said so many words.
He had limited use of his arms, right?
He could use, it was really odd because people didn't understand how he can use his arms, but he couldn't use his fingers. He can only use from the wrist all the way up. And really when I say use them, not the way you can, it's just,
No, I know.
it just depends on what he had to do with it. You know, because he did drive, so, you know, you had to use it a little bit.
The guy's got an amazing story, he really does.
Yeah, he was,
You know, atrophy it never really took him over, the atrophy never did. That's kind of
atrophy?
or the muscle deterioration. You really didn't see it real bad in him.
Oh, yeah. He had somebody said he had big calves.
Yeah.
Well, he ran track and played football in the military, so he was a real...
I'll tell you what, a lot of people, it doesn't take long. That guy,
Yeah, I've seen a couple of
if you didn't see the wheelchair, you wouldn't have known. You know, that's the way the way it was describing me.
Yeah, I mean, even the pictures, if you just didn't know him, you would think he was just sitting in a chair. Yeah, he had good posture.
Some use of his arms, but not his hands.
And the only way he could use them is if he had to wear, I don't know if you ever seen black leather exercise motorcycle gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Those gave him the strength to be able to do more. But if he didn't have those gloves on, his hands were like this. They were just flat. They were just hanging flat.
So if he was laying in bed, if he couldn't sleep, is that when he smoked or
Yeah,
whatever?
he smoked when he couldn't sleep. And the gloves stayed on all the time, always, unless he took a shower and he took them off.
How would he light a cigarette?
He has a candle that sits next to the ashtray. So he would bring him, like, look this side now. Like this is the table, and he is laying in bed. He uses this part of his arm and bring himself over. And like to pull himself closer to it. Then he reached down, and it was a long, he never could smoke it if it was like a little small one. It would have to be long. And he would just reach down with his mouth, take the cigarette into his mouth, and then he would go over to the candle and light it. Either way it goes. If he was sitting in a wheelchair or if he was laying, that's the only way he can light it is by his mouth.
So you would set up, you would obviously put it in reach.
I would put everything in reach for him because that's the way he wanted it. Now, if the cigarette was too small, he would get these scissors. They're like these scissors they buy, people quad buy to smoke with, and he would stick them between his hands, and the scissors kind of grab the tip of the cigarette where it's like too short for him to actually reach down there. He would use those sometimes. That's only if nobody's at home and he just couldn't get to a cigarette or something.
Kind of keep some order to it. I thought maybe he was smoking bed. Sometimes he's smoking. All right, so you thought you were dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then you smelled it again. That's when you thought maybe he was smoking.
Yeah, it was a different type of smell, you know, because, you know, he smoked 3 different things, you know, so, you know, everything was a different type of smell always anyway. So when you're sleeping, you can't really determine what kind of smoke it is. It could have been a black mouth cigarette, the other thing, or smoke, you know. So it just didn't smell. At first it smelled like black and mild. Then I couldn't really say because I wasn't in there with him, and sometimes he smoked all of them. Just depends on how he's feeling. But then it just got stronger, so I knew there was something else. So that's, well, I don't want to go too fast. I don't know if it's so typing. Okay. Then that's when he called my name. And I jumped up off the couch. It was a sectional by the table, and I kind of, you know, I was speaking.
He yelled for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was scared?
Well, it just seemed like, because usually when he's dropped the counter before, he yells like that, like, hurry up and get in here before it burns. But, you know, either way it goes, I would have had to get up. It wasn't like a certain kind of yell, but it was a little bit harsher. I knew I needed to go. I knew I needed to go. And then once I got up and went into the room, I don't know if, that's the thing, I don't know if he was actually smoking or his arms would just pop out sometimes. Sometimes his legs, that was spasticity that he had sometimes. The smoking or the spasticity knocked the candle, evidently, because when I got there, the candle was in the bed.
That's the first one. You went in the room, you saw the candle in. The candle was laying.
The candle was, it was flaming like on the side, and it was like one of those little small candles that kind of, where you know it's almost gone. It's not brand new. So once it's small, it's a little bit more heavier. The flames are heavier.
So the candle was it on the bed or on the floor?
No, it wasn't on the floor. It was actually on the bed. And I moved it real fast and I grabbed the comforter. And when the candle, by that time, when I took the comforter and I started to move it real fast, I threw it on the floor. And then what it did was it started to flame more. And then it caught his shirt because he had on a sweatshirt. And he didn't.
It had already.
Yes.
This is where I'd been confused all. It was burning the comforter.
It was burning the comforter at that point because it was a silk type comforter.
So was the candle, was it to his right, to his left, or on him? Had it fallen like directly on him?
Yeah, because the bed, it didn't have rails, you know what I mean? It just was, the comforter just laid straight. So when the candle fell, it must have made a flame and then it kind of fell down or something.
Or rolled into him?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's on his side then?
Yeah, it's pretty much on his side because every candle he's ever used, if it falls on him, because of the position he's in, it's usually going to fall in that position.
So what I remember, so the candle would have been, if we're looking at the window from inside the house, just like we are now.
Right.
This is the bed. So the candle would have been on his right side, our right side.
Right, like right where that arm, whatever arm faces that bedside table, that's the side it would have been on.
Okay.
So that's right.
Also, we can do this easy. The candle fell between him and the bedside table. It was on the bed.
Basically, yes, because there's him, the comforter, and the bedside table right next to each other.
Okay, when did you light the candle?
It was actually lit all Sunday.
It burned all night, all day?
Yeah, he keeps candles burning just ongoing.
So it was on what table?
It's like a bedside table that he keeps.
Is it an end table or was it the hospital
It
table?
was a hospital.
Okay.
Bedside, same thing, yeah, bedside hospital table.
So what were the wheels on it that he
Yeah.
can move, that you can move in and out of the way?
You can kind of put it right in front of him to eat, or you can leave it on the side of him to whatever. It does everything. It goes in, out.
So we can call, is it really a hospital bed table?
Oh, yeah, because it came from the hospital. It came from the VA, so I would say so.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Y'all need something? Water? Coke?
I hate it to bother you, but I mean, go ahead. I am thirsty.
I don't care. No, tell me. You need a Coke or something?
Yeah, I really want a Coke. I'm a
I
Coke
have
freak.
no problem.
I'm fine, I've got
These
my own
days
Diet
I'm a
Coke.
Diet
I'll
Coke.
charge you about a minute.
Just telling this story sometimes just really, it makes my, makes the blood pressure go up, that stuff. It's really hard to just, I mean, because ever since it happened, I've had to tell them so much. People call me and say, what happened, what happened? It's just like, wow, yeah. I finally went back to the house yesterday, day before yesterday, and then just going to the house just makes me just so sick to go in there. My son wanted to go in, but told me couldn't. It's horrible.
How's the training?
He'll be 9 next month. And, he just got so close to strong, compared to his daddy being such a nut. It's just been really hard. And I forgot to bring in the obituary, but I'll see if it can. I'll make sure I give you one.
Okay. Don't forget to thank
Oh, I won't. I got my purse. You understand? I just don't like sitting in the message. Thank you.
Can I dial out on this?
I think so.
About to hit
Is
nine
it,
or?
you got a dial on you?
No.
Here, I'll get you to a phone.
That's all right. That's no big deal. No big deal.
Did you want to use my cell phone?
Yeah, let me just need to come on.
Okay, go ahead.
Y'all go ahead, though. I'm listening.
I'll just do this.
You're a big fan.
Take it. Thank you so much.
Sure, if it didn't take care of all that phone. Kelly, can I speak with Candy, please?
Okay.
Just read out. Can you push talk again? Sometimes it's a reception.
So your immediate thought, when you walk in the room, is you figured, you see the candle, and you figured because of one of his spasms, he's probably knocked this candle off on the bed,
He
off the
probably
hospital
is, or he
table.
was trying to smoke. It was one or the other.
And that was something, he wanted that candle there, that was his deal.
No matter what, nobody wouldn't. My husband didn't like to wake people up all through the night just to light a cigarette or whatever the case might be.
Hey,
So-
Kelly, we got disconnected.
That candle was something he had to have at all
You there?
times. Even when I wasn't home, even when someone else come over
Yeah.
for me when I couldn't work, you know, when I was at work,
Yeah,
they
can you hear
would
me?
come there and light a candle,
Okay.
or he'll send them to go buy a candle.
Yeah, we got disconnected.
But the only thing about the candles that he used, I don't think they were safe because he
Okay.
never wanted to use the candles in the glass. Because when the candle got too low, if the base is too high, he can't get his cigarette off in there and he drops it inside the glass.
Hey, Candy.
You had to have, I guess.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you, just put Lisa up front on the
Wax
table.
burn off on
Put
the
Kelly
table.
wherever, I guess.
That's
I
why
don't know where she can be, but,
build up on your table.
yeah, you did. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Yeah, well, I should have moved Michelle's desk in there, the one that's ours in there. I should have moved that into the other office, but I just didn't get a chance, so I'll do that when I get back. Yeah. Okay, all right, I'll call you when I'm heading back. All right, bye.
Don't hesitate if you want something.
No, you know what, I came down with a cold. I'm living with, my friends who live closer to the school. They have 4 kids and my kid, and they're all sick, and I think I picked up something from one of them. But no, this cold really did it. I was really just kind of dry throat.
The candle had already started the fire.
Mm-hmm.
How big, I mean, was it a fire that was hard to approach? Was it a small?
No, it was pretty much the comforter that laid like right on the side where he was. It was just going. It was just kind of going into the material. So my thing was, I moved the hospital.
So it was just burning, it was doing that?
Yeah, it
And
was
you could see it getting bigger?
You can see it. You can actually see it. And he was
And this
scared.
right next to him?
Yeah, he was scared. He was scared. I was scared. I panicked. You know, I've
So
never.
how, do you think the fire was it, when, at your first glance, I know it's 4, 5 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
but do you think the fire was, I'm trying to think of an example, as big as a gallon milk jug, that wide, or?
It was not really wide. It was up.
So the fire was already burning up off the bed?
It was burning up, and then I.
Was it this far? Was it how high do you think the flame was? Just a guess. And it can be.
Probably about right here. It might have been about like this, but it wasn't real long. But as I was moving it, it just seemed
So
to
the flame was pretty high. It was,
The flame was high, but once you move the comfort, you could tell that it was just going in. It was going forward.
could you feel the heat of that when you got
Yeah.
right next to the, as you're, like, let's say if you're at the corner of the bed, could you already feel the heat of that flame?
I can feel it. I knew that
I
it
think that
was,
describes it pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of intense. But it was going to get intense if I had moved faster.
You said about like that.
Yeah,
About 4 inches and, what kind, just roughly 4 inches
Yeah.
in diameter?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was right, yeah.
I just typed, I could already feel heat as I entered the room,
Yeah,
and that's okay.
yeah, okay.
Smoke? The smoke was already bad?
The smoke was kind of bad. But that's not what made it get really bad.
What was Sterling doing? I know what he was
He
doing,
was-
tell me.
He was scared. He kept saying, you know, first he said, throw the comfort on the floor. Then he said, no, he was just really, we were both panicking at the same time. So he was just
I'm sorry.
that's okay, go.
Sterling, he actually at one point told you, he said, throw the comfort, get the comforter off the bed.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. But what happened was the comforter, when I moved it, it caught his shirt. Because he kept a shirt on, it was long. And that was because our furnace was out. So he stuck in there.
So he was yelling, he's got to get this comforter off, get it off me.
Yeah, he's like, move the comforter up. You know, then once he started, it had to get his shirt, and that's when he really, so I just don't want to talk faster than you type.
I know, just bear with me. Let's work together.
Just stop me because I talk fast.
No, I don't believe you. You ever got a message from Mr. Boucher?
I leave the long messages. My husband used to,
Oh, yeah.
my husband used to get so angry with me. He'd say, will you just hang up and call me back? I'll answer. Don't leave the message. Because he said I don't allow other people to leave messages.
I had to bill her half an hour just for listening to her message.
I'm sorry.
If you're pulling the spread off, that's when the fire gets bigger, meaning it catches his shirt on
Catches
fire.
his shirt.
You went ahead and pulled, is that when you pulled the spread off?
That's what I-
Okay, let me type all that down. That's a sweatshirt, right? You said?
Yeah.
You told me that
For
before.
the hood.
The hood was in?
He said, well, because he got cold real easy and our furnace was out.
Okay. He was cold, he stayed cold, didn't he? He was cold all the time?
He
That's
did.
what everybody's told me.
Yeah, he has, what do you call that? Something that they call it with quads. Their body chemistry is different from ours because of the less feeling that he had. So like when it was really hot to me, it was really cold, and when it was cold, it was hot to him.
What'd you do with the comforter?
I threw it to the floor.
So you threw it to your right.
Yeah, right by the bedside table.
Okay, what happened? The fire, is that comforter, you have an open flame on it now? Can you see fire on the comforter?
Yeah, the comforter was on fire. His shirt caught on fire, so what I did was I moved the table and I grabbed him from under his arms because his arms were easier for me to actually pull him out of the bed versus his feet. I pulled him out.
What part of his shirt's on fire?
Actually, like right up in here.
So it's your stomach
Because you know, he
and chest
never
area.
kept the comforter completely over him. He just kept it like right down here, like where the stomach part.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
And once the comforter did that, I tried to pull him out the bed, but the flame was going like upward, and then I grabbed him.
Towards his
Right,
head.
right. But the hood was off because I think he was so nervous. He just he wanted me to move faster. He just knocked that out the way. And then I pulled him by his torch, like up under here. Because my thing was, if I can get him out of the room, then I can try and stop the fire, or I can try to get the fire out some kind of way. So,
Okay. You're all right.
Go ahead.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
The comforter's hot.
Mm-hmm.
The smoke filling the room now? I put, is it okay to say that it's kind of in the middle of his stomach and chest, and it's burning upward towards his face?
Yeah. Then
Go ahead, I'm listening.
okay, then I was trying to grab him under his, because it hadn't gotten that far yet. This part of his body was still not as smoky and fiery. So I grabbed him by his waist. I pulled him real fast to the floor.
Grab him one more time by yourself. You said you grabbed him, you walked around and grabbed him under here.
Under here, like,
Okay.
behind him.
All right.
Because he was in the bed like this. So I pulled him forward, grabbed him under his arms, and then I pulled him out of the bed to the floor. And I was pulling him all the way toward the TV, and his feet I think that's when you started to feel it maybe. His feet started to kick, and there was like a fake plant or something right next to that wall.
Was that a fake plant?
Yes, it was a fake artificial plant that I made, and it fell over onto the middle part of him, and it caught on fire. So,
Okay, the plant fell on top of him and caught fire.
yeah, and as I was pulling him, I had on a long sleeve shirt, and my shirt caught on fire, so I had to take it off really quick, and I had a tank top under the shirt.
Okay. Hey, where, when he was in the bed, did you get that can of water then, or coming up? The trash can of water?
Oh, no, that was when it was on the floor. That's when we were on the...
When it,
Yeah, I was thinking, well, the reason why I went and got the water was because the
Oh, the fire.
artificial plant was flaming. So I was trying to knock, I went in, there was so much smoke this way. So I went and got the green trash can that was
in your son's
in my
bathroom?
son's bathroom, because we didn't have the kind of trash can I needed in our bathroom.
Mhm.
So I went and got that, put water in, and I started to pour the water onto the plant. And it just seemed like it wasn't going to do. And I tried to get the fire extinguisher, and I couldn't figure out how to make it work.
So, standing right there at that moment, after you've taken your shirt off, is the bed on fire?
The
The bed was just starting, and the plant, and the comforter.
In the comforter. And if the bed was on fire, I probably didn't notice that because of the
Because of
smoke.
the smoke?
Because the fire department kept telling me that I was actually talking and trying to do stuff at the same time.
Where was the dog?
In that music room, that next room that's over, I don't know.
To actually further right
Yeah,
of the comforter now.
where the big screen TV was. That's where the
Okay.
dog was.
Was he,
He was 12 years old, and he had a bad hip, And Sterling only brought him in at nighttime because it got really cold outside.
so, after you've taken that, you took your shirt off real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what happened.
He kept saying he couldn't breathe,
Okay.
and he just kept saying, help him. And I just kept telling him I was trying, because he was really heavy.
Just, and is it around this time you ran it and you got this trash can?
Yes.
Actually, your son's bathroom is right there. You turn around, it's right
It's
there.
right next to the door, and the doors stay open anyway, all the time.
You remember if the trash can was as big as this one? About the same size, so,
It might have been a
maybe a
little...
foot tall?
It was that size, but it was the hole in it was a little smaller. Like one of those bigger trash cans with a rail over it. Something like that.
Think you filled it up?
No, I didn't put it all the way up. I was so panicking on it. Because for some reason my son has this thing right below the I was barely getting water. That was the thing, because you got to put that thing under it, and that thing, he has like this little thing that sits there where he sits all his little body stuff.
All his toys and stuff?
Well, stuff, yeah, he played with in the water.
Yeah.
So really it's kind of hard to put something under that. If you can run water in the bathtub, it's hard to get a trash can under the water nozzle thing.
Where do you pour the water?
Onto the plant, onto everything that I
So
see.
actually the plant and
And-
Sterling and all that's all, it's all right there.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Everything else was that way, the comforter was this way, he was this way. The plant was laying down, my shirt was there, I was there. And,
Is it okay to say it was pretty much, it was kind of a pile of burning stuff there?
Yeah.
With the plant and all, right?
the plant really caught, that's what made the fire bad. That plant, you know, started, well, everybody now says that, they've been, want to tell me for a long time that those plants are not good to have in there with them because the smoke all the time. He never asked me to leave it, and it was way in the corner, it's way by the little dresser. It was really out of the way.
Did you do that one time, 2 times, the water?
I only did it once. Because after I realized the water wasn't working, I tried to make the fire extinguisher work. I couldn't figure out how to turn it on.
What was that?
It hangs like right on the, like as soon as you walk in the door, it's like coming from the front door, it's like on the side of like a little corner just like that.
In the other room?
Yeah, near the room, right there in the corner, it's a little white one. And then there's one in the kitchen.
Anybody asked you about that fire extinguisher yet?
No, I don't think so.
That's the only thing somebody's questioned on.
That's a problem. I don't know how to work a fire extinguisher at all, and that's probably my fault because I'm supposed to know how to work one. And here's the thing, he told me to go get it, and I couldn't figure out how to pull it, and
Sterling, at that time, right, is he talking?
yes, he was saying, help him. He just kept saying, help. He was helping, and I told him, I said, I'm trying, I can't, I said so many things at that time. I kept telling him,
But there's actually, you have conversation
yeah,
back and forth.
When he was talking to me, he just kept saying, first he said he couldn't breathe. And after he said he couldn't breathe, he kept saying,
On the floor.
on the floor. He said he couldn't breathe. And that's when I went and got, the water thing, I thought maybe it would knock some of the smoke away, because I was thinking the smoke he was inhaling it or something. And, then he just kept saying, baby, please help me. I just probably all he was saying.
Pardon the way I say this. This is a part of what David's gonna say, okay?
Mhm.
I think it's the most important part of it.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna ask you to describe it as what are you seeing right then? What are you seeing? The room, is it so full of smoke that you're having trouble breathing and that you're coughing and
Yeah, I was coughing and I couldn't breathe, and by that time the room had gotten so dark, and I kept running in and out of the living room because I was running in and out looking for people. I needed help.
So the room was dark where you couldn't see anything?
You could still, actually that plant made light because it was
It's burning,
burning.
yeah.
Right, but the room was really dark. You could tell that it was a lot of smoke. And then I was coughing, I couldn't really see, and,
So you said you ran in the living room several times to catch your breath.
yeah, I just couldn't, I couldn't breathe, but I didn't want to leave him there. He stopped talking, and I just was hoping that,
He's quit talking? at that
yeah,
time?
at that time, he had, at the very end when those policemen, kind of drove up, because they,
Have you called, let's say when you got the water,
mhm.
had you already called us?
Yeah, the fire department was already on the phone. They were telling me to leave out the house. And was there anybody in the house with me? And for some reason, I didn't even say the dog, so I wasn't thinking. I was only thinking about us at the time, and the cat, and then everything else was in the house. But
So immediately after pulling Sterling out of the bed, you called us?
I think I did call y'all immediately after, and then I called Shauna, and what happened was the battery charger fell out of the phone, because something was wrong with that cordless phone, and I kept trying to put it back in there to call the person back, because all
I saw
they
your
heard.
batteries on the floor outside that, on the ground
Yeah,
outside. so
he
obviously it's
couldn't,
all good.
I'm sure when I called him, he probably wanted to know what I was trying to say. But as soon as I was trying to say it, the battery fell out, and I put it back in to call back again. And that's when the guy told me, was there anybody else in the house? Get out the house. And I told him I couldn't get out the house. At that time, my husband was still talking. Then he said, you have to get out the house because it's going to be too much smoke in there. And I went outside, and then I went back, and I don't know, I just kept going backing in like an idiot. But by that time, the policeman got there. Told me, asked me where the water hose was, and
Hold up. I'm just, as you're getting the water, you're talking to the cops too.
yes, I have a.
You
Is
got
that the police? The fire department I was talking to. I thought it was
Actually, all of them.
all of them. Okay, yeah. I can't really remember
You're
exactly.
talking to a dispatcher, a 911 dispatcher. Is that how you
That's
call,
how
right?
I called. I called
Okay.
911.
So you think as soon as your husband's on the floor and you're going back and forth to back, it's in this time you start dialing 911.
That's when I started calling. And I think I even did it before then. I just can't remember because what really upset me when the battery fell out and I'm trying to call somebody and I know that phone has a problem holding up. And I never taped it. So then I put it back in and tried to call again. And by that time, they were on their way. I could hear people coming. And then the only person I actually saw enter was a lady cop and a man cop. And they asked me where the water hose was. And I told them on the side of the house, but then there's also one in the back. They wanted the nearest one. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Let's make a rule right now. We don't have to follow it up.
I know I talked so fast.
Not to be definite, we'll just say during this time, the water and everything is happening so fast.
It's just
Is when you
wrong.
started calling
That's
911.
when I called. And
Had phone trouble? Is that right? I mean, we can describe it like that?
yeah, the battery fell out of the phone trouble.
Yeah, we'll say that. That it was.
Yeah, I did call 911. Once Joey got to the floor, because I just assumed that I could take care of it. That I can do it, and I can put it out.
Hey, do you remember when you put the phone back together?
Mm-hmm.
Did you call back or did they call back? Or you're just, everything's happening
Matter
at
of
the same time?
fact, they were calling me back. As soon as I put that battery back in, it rained. And I pushed the button. And then all of a sudden they started asking me again, what happened, who's in the house, who are you, what's your name, where do you live? And it's just like, and they asked me what happened, I said the battery fell out. And that's pretty much what they were saying.
I made a list of questions,
Okay.
so I didn't forget anything,
No,
so let me make sure I get where I'm at. Do I remember, or did Sterling wake up that morning before the fire?
No. Now, if he did wake up, it was meaning that I got out of the bed, no, he wasn't awake then. But if he decided to get up in the middle of the night, like around the time I went to the couch, it could have been the spasms might have woke him up, or he just decided he wanted to smoke.
I just thought I remembered,
Mm-hmm.
he asked if you were leaving and about the dog. Did he ask you to get to see if the dog was in?
No, he knew the dog was in already. Yeah, because we let him in every night about 8 o'clock anyway, so we won't forget to let him in.
Folks, fighting is disgusting, man. I cannot get.
He said something about 3:30, but it wasn't anything important. He said, are you still going to pick up Trey? Don't forget to leave me some water. He made sure whatever, if I was going to leave for 10 minutes, anything could happen. He's stuck in bed. He just wanted to make sure. He said, you still going to pick up Trey? I said, yeah, but I'm going to go to the living room until Sean called. But he went right back to sleep. That wasn't even a good 5 minutes. But the dog was already in the house. Well, he didn't say anything about the dog. He knew he was good at leaving, bring the dog in for him.
911's telling you they want you out of the house, huh?
Yeah, but I didn't listen. You know, but I know that's procedure for leaving.
They don't want a second victim.
He was asking me as a child and I said, actually, I didn't realize until everything was over that the dog and cat was doing. I sent a neighbor down there to check on it. I don't know what happened after that.
You do know both of them died in the fire too.
No, that was my grandma's cat. I found out later on.
As you're talking to, going through all of that with 911, through those calls, is Sterling talking still?
I think at that, when they called me back, I wanted to think he was talking, but I think he wasn't anymore.
Did you get burned?
Just the shirt I had on. I would never put it still been on, I probably would. So I just snatched it off. Well, the only reason why I had two shirts on because again, there was no furnace.
It was cold outside, right?
It was very cold outside and very cold inside. Our furnace has been broken for about 8 months.
Did you have any other heaters going?
We had one heater that was like in there with the dog. It's like that heater that looks like a,
Oh, that furnace one.
That-
I know what you're talking
looks
about.
like a, I don't know.
It's like old school
Like
heater.
an old school heater. And, I had, let's see, the stove might have been on, but I doubt it. But that's probably, you know, my thing was I was easier to keep warm than he was, so the heater stayed on his side. So that's pretty much all we had. And the fireplace might have been on.
That is a TV room for him, right?
That was his little game there.
What they call it? He had a name for it, hideout.
Sterling hideout.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Who told me that? Maybe you.
But I think someone asked me what was that brown thing that was above the door. And I said Sterling's hideout.
Oh, there's a sign there?
Yeah, there was a sign that said Sterling hideout right above the
That
door.
might have been.
Yeah, and for some reason that didn't get burned. It got burned, but it was still, you can still
Yeah.
see, and once you took all the black stuff off.
So you think that, I called that a space heater, I know that's trouble.
That's what it is.
It is called a space heater?
That's
Okay.
it. Because it got spaces in between each one. It got it from Walmart. But it was in a box. It was called space heater.
This TV one. And when I say, when I'm kind of describing that, when I say the right side of the room,
Mm-hmm.
that's, I'm describing it as we're walking in the window.
Yeah,
We're
like-
facing the window.
Like coming in from the front door. Yeah.
Anything on the left side of the room? Did you have anything, a heater in the bathroom? Did y'all have anything going in there?
No, just my side of the bed and same lamp, end table, bunch of pillows, but nothing running in the bathroom. We have no heaters or anything in there. I mean, we have a heater in there, but he only used it when he was in the bathroom, you know, doing his Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. But it would never stay on, like, with nobody else.
Was that another space heater?
No, it was like when, you know how when you turn the light on, there's a heater up there? He got it built there.
Was it the type that blows, or was it a light?
It was like a light heater. He called it a light heater because he asked someone to put it up there. Because when he's doing whatever he had to do on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when it was cold in there, he turned it on and it made heat from up there for him.
Heat lamp?
Heat lamp. Sounds right.
So he had that put in afterwards? Or
No,
was it in when you got there?
no, I think it was put in when he got the house built. Because when he first had his accident, he got cold even more, so he was a lot less weight. But I think they did that for him, so when he's doing his program, they kept him in.
Stove on and maybe the fireplace.
I know the fireplace for sure. Now the stove might not be on. Sometimes I kept the stove on in the kitchen because it was kind of cold, but I'm not sure. I know the fireplace for sure, the space heater, and that was two definite things that were on. I'm going if I have that chair.
Sure. You want this one?
No, you're fine. I can take that. It's just that this one is so squeaky.
Oh.
And I feel like I'm making noise.
When Sterling went to bed, or actually when you put Sterling to bed, Sunday night or evening? What time do you think he went to bed?
Sterling probably went to bed. Super Bowl started with, well, no. Sunday night, Sterling did a shower program. So that was around 8 o'clock. And then he stayed in the room. At nighttime. And that usually lasts about 3 hours. Because he has to do his shower program. He ate some chili, listened to the game, read a book, put him in the shower. And then after he got the shower, I have to braid his hair and put his clothes on. Then he got in bed. I'm thinking about 10. Since I like no, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, maybe 11 or 11:30. Before midnight.
So you listened to the game?
Yeah, he listened to it in the room, that same room. Because for some reason the cable wouldn't switch to it. I don't know which station it's supposed to be on. Something was wrong.
Around 10, you said 11.
I'm thinking 11, because it usually takes about 4 hours for him to do a bowel program. But I think we did it kind of quick, because usually he does it on Monday morning, and it didn't come down like it was supposed to. Sometimes when he's
You think it's because I knew, remembered you telling me that?
Mm-hmm.
Why a day early?
Because he wanted to do something Monday morning. He had to go the ramp. He wanted to go to Freedom Wheels. Yeah, he wanted to go to Freedom Wheels early, so we decided to do it Sunday night. And
You like those people?
Freedom Wheels?
Yeah.
They didn't treat Sterling. They stole a lot of stuff out of his face. And Sterling dealt with them because that's the only person in Houston that can actually work on his van. So it was a little tough sometimes when I called there because that van was his legs. I mean, if he don't have van, he has nowhere to get nowhere. And then they stole his CDs out. One time his TV came up missing.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, so he wasn't real happy with him, but that was like his only option, or he couldn't get his van fixed.
And it was a company that's splintered off from them now is starting to do that.
They're going to do another company, but I don't know which one, but the VA, I mean, Sterling has had over 5 years of problems with that company and that van. So after a while, it was kind of frustrating because it always stops on him in the freeway, so when he's stuck, and never have roadside assistance, and never have emergency at night when he's stuck. So,
Yeah, it's not like he can jump out and run down the road.
No, it's not like I can go pick him up and put him in my Camaro,
Yeah.
With a wheelchair.
On Sunday, Sterling listened to the Super Bowl game in their room. So was he listening to the game while you were doing the ballot program?
Yeah, he can hear it.
So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that was a pretty traumatic event, wasn't it?
Well, because it's not that it was a traumatic event, it's just that these bowel programs were done on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you do it sometime a day early or at night, off schedule, it doesn't come down properly. So we tried to stick with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning if possible. But he wanted to go to Freedom Wheels early because he knows how Freedom Wheels is. If he had went late, they would have tried to keep his van overnight, then he would have had to get someone to bring him back home without his van.
Where's Freedom Wheels?
He
You
could
said-
just
Oh, in one place like that around?
one place like that.
Amazing.
You ever seen the inside of that van?
Alright.
Stuff very
Like
interesting.
that,
It's amazing, it really is.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Like a hydraulic lift.
Well, not just because of that, just because of the way he fixed it up. I've never seen a van like this.
Huh.
It kept, he had a lot of equipment in it, but it was really unsafe because when one wire popped, everything shuts down on one freeway and he's just there. Nothing else to do. No emergency roadside assistant can help a van like that. You can call AAA or anybody and it can do nothing.
You had to call Freedom Wheels, basically. Or that guy
All
with
the
Freedom Wheels, yeah.
time. All the time. And they never had anyone that could come get him immediately. It was tough.
When you grabbed Sterling under his shoulders, is that when you think your shirt caught fire? Or was it towards the...
It was probably toward the end. That's when the fire got more exposed.
Okay, when Sterling went to bed around 11,
Mm-hmm.
to that.
Okay.
Tell me, you put on his long sleeve, his hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah, well, that's in the bathroom. Right after I get him out the shower, I have to dry him up, put him an undershirt on, a sweatshirt.
Just describe exactly how he went to bed that night.
Okay, from when he got out the toilet?
Yeah,
pretty much
okay,
from
you
the
know
shower.
that, I know that you put the sweatshirt on in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
What did y'all do next?
Okay, I put the t-shirt on, put the sweatshirt on, changed his 3 wounds he had.
And those are the skin-to-skin ones, or whatever, those
He had one right here. He had, I don't know, he burnt his finger on his space heater one time. That was his
It was a
second-
pretty bad burn, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He was trying to smoke, and he didn't realize his finger was by the heater. And it, you know, since it's a space heater, his hand went between it, and he never knew it was there the whole time.
Wow.
And the next day was a big blister, and it popped. And then it just got really bad, and then he started to get sick on the inside. So he went to the VA. The VA wouldn't see him at 2:30 in the morning, so he went to Polygraph instead. And Polygraph told him that it was burned so bad that they were going to have to remove it. So they gave him this medicine, so I had to put it clean. I mean, I had to wrap it every day. So that was his second wound. Then he had one behind his heel. So I had to change 3 wounds. He liked his hair in plaits. You know, he wanted his hair plaited up and stuff. Then, let's see what else.
When you put him to bed.
Okay, then you just roll him to the bed in his commode chair. Then you just put him in the bed, put his little booties on, like these little white ski boots that he keep on so his legs don't rub together, feet don't rub together. And put a pillow between his legs, pillow behind his back, pillow down at the bottom of his feet to prop his feet up so the wound won't. Because sometimes wounds, you can still feel them even though he's paralyzed. If the pillow is laying inside that, on that wound, it'll make his feet jump. So I had to put a pillow like up under his feet. And
What do they call those? What are the wounds? There's
bedside wounds, maybe. No, you can't say bedside wound because those are like when you stay in a bed
That's
long.
it's a sort of like that, but it's when the skin touches together for a period of time. Cause
Well,
we
we put the pillow through there so his feet, so this won't touch, but he's never got a wound here. The reason why someone has a wound here, someone dropped him a couple of years ago, and the wound never healed. And the reason why he had this wound on the back of his foot was because he wore his shoes too tight sometimes. You tell him that his feet is swollen, but he wore shoes. He had to wear shoes. And it made a blister back there. And normally when his blisters pop, they turn to sores. And of course the finger is because of the space heater.
Okay, pillow under his back.
Right behind, like right here, like from here down to there. Just so if he rolls backwards, he won't fall out the bed. That pillow protects him. Because it's a Craftmatic bed, but it doesn't have hospital rails. He didn't want them. He said it made him feel more handicapped. So he didn't want the rails there. So the pillow was there.
Help prevent him falling out of the bed.
Yeah, so because you know he pulled himself over a lot to get to that bedside table. So if there's nothing there, he'll just roll out.
Pillow under his feet.
Yeah, and under that foot. Just roll it up in a donut, like, and so it'll just sit high away from the wound.
Pillow under his foot. Okay. Or
Pillow
under his back, pillow under his foot.
In between his legs. And that's all the pillows there were.
This was every night.
Every night. Can you go to bed without those pillows?
He covered him up with a comforter.
That has
Up to where?
like about right here. Because it was kind of, even though it was kind of cold, but he still had a sweatshirt on, so he didn't need, every now and then he would pull it up over his head if it got really cold in the middle of the
Comforter he
night.
would?
Yeah, if it got
This night, did he?
Huh?
Did he have it over his face this night?
I don't think he had it over his face that night. And if he did, when I got there, it wasn't. But every now and then, if it gets too hot, he'll push it back down. If it gets too cold,
He had that kind of control where he could move.
yeah,
it
he
up.
can move his wrist was what helped him, not fingers. His wrist was pretty strong.
So he had a comforter, sheet, how many blankets and comforters?
Just one comforter and one sheet, and then a sheet that's actually on the bed, like
Oh, the fitted
sheet.
Okay.
Right?
Did it drive him crazy to have something on his face? Did he ever panic when he'd have something on his face?
No.
Like the comforter and everything, it didn't bother him?
No, he can sleep. Sometimes some people have to sleep with masks in their eyes so they can't sleep. For some reason he had, and he kept a pillow over his face too. Even if the comfort was on, he kept a pillow. I don't know. And even the way he slept now, in being in the wheelchair, he slept that like that when he was walking too. Like folded with a comforter and his pillow.
So did he have a pillow up?
Yeah, he always keeps the pillow up on his face. Now, if it wasn't on there, some days he didn't bother with it, but normally it was always at least 4 pillows. Definitely 3, but I would say every day the pillow would be there, and it would be up to him whether he wants to put it up there or not.
So was it there?
It might have been there. It's usually in the bed, but if he didn't put it in his face, it's probably because he just... Sterling had different people, different days he did stuff. But if he went to sleep, sometimes he put it in his face, and then every now and then he wouldn't. And that's maybe once or twice out of a whole week, he wouldn't do it. Well, my son, I didn't hear him probably ask you for your frogs.
That is not my goofy fault.
Well, my husband picks up Brad's big frogs,
Yeah.
and he corrects frogs. Well, not real ones. But,
I think that's so, you not lose the key in this one.
okay.
Where is that? Is that New Territory?
Mm-hmm.
The school is?
On Cunningham Creek.
I'm gonna go back over it one more time.
Okay, fair.
Did you bring the supper card?
No, he wouldn't be able to leave. Wrong with him yesterday.
During the night, you don't remember him waking up, other than the 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, when he thought maybe I was getting ready to walk. He was a night person, I was too. I decorated all through the night when I had ideas in my mind. So he just, in case I was going to get up to something, he made sure that he told me if you leave, you go get Trey, make sure you put some water or something by the bed. So he kept water, food, vitamins, candles, smoke, all this stuff stayed right by the bed with him. And if he was up, it just stayed on another. We had like 6 or 7 hospital tables in the whole house. So everywhere I tried to keep a hospital table everywhere in case wherever he decided to go eat. Sometimes he'd eat in the kitchen, sometimes he'd in that hideout, sometimes he'd in that bed or in the office.
How long have you been together?
I've known Sterling for about 7 years. We've been married 4 years, April 22nd.
When was it?
He was 23, so I'm going back, I think that's about 12 years ago, maybe.
So long before you met him?
Yeah, way before I met him. He was in the military. He got hurt in the military, car wreck.
That's a little story right there, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all been married for 4 years.
In April 22nd.
What year?
Did we get married?
Mm-hmm.
98? Maybe?
That's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 98, 99. Yeah,
It would have been 5 years in April.
yeah, no, it's actually 4, so maybe we got married in 99. Yeah, because if it's 4 years in April, I'm thinking 99. Because we got married 2 days before Easter in 99. That's right.
You've been on Sterling how long?
About 7 years, probably maybe 6.5 or something.
How'd you meet Sterling?
I was working at a department store, and I called up a friend because I used to volunteer for people in wheelchairs, and I asked her if she knew anybody who needed something part-time, because I was living alone, and she told me she was going to look on the internet and see if she could find someone in a wheelchair. So I didn't actually wait on her. I looked in the green sheet, and he had an ad in the green sheet. Sterling Boucher is looking for a part-time guy, and he's in a wheelchair. So Dorothy Harmon, which is Shauna's mother. Am I going too fast?
Probably, but we'll
Okay,
be
go
all right. You must have through an ad in the green sheet.
Right. He was looking for a part-time attendant, I guess you would call it, aide.
In his home, right?
Man at his house.
Did you know, I know it's Veronica was there at that time. Did you know Veronica prior to that?
No, I never met her before. She hired me.
That's who interviewed
Yeah, her and Leading.
his friend,
Alita, cousin, right. She was living with Sterling at the time, and Veronica was working for him.
Would this be a good time? I wanted to just have a word with her before I left.
Sure.
How are y'all doing on, as far as getting close to?
I'm not real sure.
Okay.
At length, there's a forest in another hour.
Okay.
Okay, we spend it all now. No,
No, I really need to
okay,
go.
that's fine.
Can we step out for a little bit?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Okay, I appreciate it.
You got it.
Yeah, that's fine. I said he probably needs to get somewhere. Should have probably 28. I was gonna go.
Well, call me when you're done out.
I will. On your cell phone.
No.
What's crazy? I think I might just find something when I was in another hour. For today.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna go in and give you this one. March.
Great, this is tough to talk about.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you, Hal. I appreciate it.
Okay. So, Sterling, the other Sterling got served, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why you're so upset.
All right.
It's all right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can live.
Well, hang in there.
I will.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure.
I need you for anything, I'll definitely give you a call.
Yeah.
But I'll call you at, everything.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah, he just said he was coming, looking for you to ask where the restroom, and it was right in front of him.
Okay.
But he's gone though. He said he just needed to use the restroom.
He wasn't worried about me choking him while he went
No, he
Okay.
just said, where's the restroom? I said, well, you can go ask him, and then we didn't realize it was right in front of our face.
there. Veronica, do you know her last name?
McNeil,
How
MC, capital N-E-I-L.
C, capital N-E-I-L.
E-I-L.
And Sterling's cousin, right?
Alita. Her last name changed, but before it was Champagne.
I'll point him in the right direction. What's his name?
Hal D. Hale. I call him
So
Hale.
it's his company.
Yeah, I call him Hale Hal or Hale.
Okay. Is he a friend?
Yeah, he's my son's attorney for my son's father's wife did a lot of my son. So I had to get full custody where he couldn't go back into that house.
You're cool without him here? You're comfortable with him?
I'm fine.
Okay.
He had to go. I mean, it was no big deal to me. That's what I kept. I didn't really need one,
Okay.
but everybody, insisted.
I do want you to be comfortable.
Well, no, I'm very comfortable with you here. I mean, like I said, this was just so everybody can just stop,
You got a lot of people in your ear.
They don't think I have a brain maybe right now, so, But yeah, he is getting full custody for me to not allow my son to go back in the house while that's going on. And he also is doing papers for my husband to adopt him. That's
And
what
he made this trip for free?
No, I had to pay him $200.
Oh, to come with you here?
Yeah, but I owed him $200 anyway.
Oh.
He's still doing the same case with my son right now. I just haven't gone to court yet.
All right, I followed up on the ad and was interviewed by Veronica McNeil,
Mm-hmm. She hired me.
and Sterling's cousin will be here. And she, what do you call it, home care
I call
attendant?
it, yeah, home care. That's what they called it when they hired me. They said that Sterling's looking for someone who has experience in home care.
Were you hired immediately?
Yeah, that's what I got.
I think that's, oh, it's relieving.
Yeah, they hired me the same day. I told them I would have to go to dealers and just make sure I was able to work in no time.
Were you involved with your, is it your ex-husband or ex-boyfriend? at the time?
Boyfriend, no, I wasn't with him. By that time, me and him had broke up. My son was already 4. We broke up when he was like 2.
So you were single at the time and
What-
had your son?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't have my son at the time. He was living with his father because I had an apartment near him, and because he wasn't working, never worked, I used him as daycare, but I didn't have to pay a daycare. So we had pretty much split weeks with him.
When did you start working there?
For Sterling?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Did you start like a week later, just
No,
for?
no, no, actually, on Monday, I think, when I went there, and Tuesday, they called me, just, you know, to let me know if I really, I mean, they kind of had to go in there and tell Sterling who I was, see if he was interested, but like, if he wanted a man, if he had a man before, versus a woman, you know. So, I would think Wednesday I went there for the first time.
A couple days later?
Yeah, at nighttime. I went in that evening around 5 o'clock, and that's when I got to meet him.
Hey, did you have a lot of experience?
I worked for my grandmother for a very long time, so I was real familiar with home health care, but I never worked with anybody in a wheelchair before. I knew how to do everything but transfer, and that's where Veronica came in and taught me all that stuff.
That's the same grandmother that just passed away?
No, that's my mom's grandma. My dad's grandma is still living.
Veronica trained you.
Yes, she trained me.
Now, how long before you were by yourself and able to work with by yourself? You didn't live there
No,
right away?
no.
Okay.
Lady lived there, and Veronica spent the night every now and then. Didn't take me no time. It was really easy. I mean, everything was very easy except for the fact that they wanted to make sure I was able to transfer and to not drop him.
Yeah.
So it was pretty bunny hop from bed to wheelchair, easy. He looks like he could be heavy because he's so tall, 200 pounds, but it's a technique. Once you get it down, it's easy. And I started training people. So.
Now, a question I hadn't been able to get answered.
Okay.
Did Veronica and Sterling have a relationship?
They did a long time ago, like right after him and his first wife divorced. And that was like well, the thing was, she never told me that they had a relationship. Never. Because her thing was, once they broke up, she did not want nobody to know that they dated. I guess because she wanted, they had a really good friendship relationship, and she didn't want people to come there and get intimidated by her, like, well, that's you see a girlfriend.
I'm not sure how much Alita knew of that.
Well, she didn't.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Well, yeah.
That was my first one.
Yeah, they used to date, and Sterling came to me, like, after a while. He said, well, you know, me and Veronica used to date, but we broke it off because she felt bad, guilty, because she was married.
Cool.
Well, no, she wasn't married. He was still, I don't know how it went. I think either she was still married or he was still married. One of them felt guilty, and they broke up, and they still became.
They broke up on good terms.
They broke up on good terms. That's how she hired me. She still wanted to be his friends and caretaker, but what was happening is she had 4 kids, and it was getting hard on her. So she decided to hire someone, or ask him to hire somebody just for nights, and she can work during the day.
You got the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of Sterling pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
You said the hardest part to learn was trying to learn to transfer him
Mhm.
from the chair to the bed, vice versa.
And then put him in a bathtub and put him in
Hard
the
to
shower.
move him.
It was hard to move him when you're dragging him, like the way I had to during the fire, but it was very easy because it's pretty much just grabbing him around his waist, put him between your legs, and bunny hopping because he was dead weight all the way down. Just
Oh, so you could just get him like this and shift your whole body.
shift your whole body with him, yeah, because he was dead weight down here, but then up here he was kind of strong.
How long before y'all became kind of
They like each other. About 6 months later. So I just went through a really bad divorce with his first wife. And I came around and, you know how you just know stuff. I mean, you look at me and say, well, you know. I was actually living with someone at the time. I was dating a guy, and the guy was really kind of silly, you know, so kind of drew me into someone else. Like someone was kind and sweet and listening all the time, and you know, you find yourself kind of swaying away from someone that's nice.
How many people ever asked you, how could a young woman,
Like me, oh, please, my friends, all my friends. Well, what I did was when I realized I had a crush on him, I went to work and I asked the girl, I said, you know what? I said, it sounds kind of crazy, but I think I have a crush on someone in a wheelchair. I said, but he's really a nice guy, he's really handsome, and he's so independent. I never met anyone like him before. She said, well, what's wrong with that? He's a man. Just because he's in a wheelchair doesn't mean he's not human. So then I said, yeah, you're right about that. So I said, so what do I do with Dwayne? She's like, well, I mean, it's not like he's not up there, you know, chance he gets, so what do you want to be one for anyway? Even if John hadn't came along, I didn't want to be out of that relationship. But, so one day I decided to write him a call. Am I going too fast?
No, I'm listening.
I wrote him a card and I told him how I felt. I wrote him a white card and I told him, I said, Sterling, I said, I know I've been working here for a little while, but I've been trying to tell you this, but I guess you haven't really noticed. And it actually he had noticed. And he had the same feeling that I really liked you and I hope that we can become more than friends one day. But I knew that he had just gotten fresh out of that marriage and I didn't want to, you know, I didn't know what his feelings was still toward that situation. I mean, that was kind of a really tough time for him. And we talked for 6 months about everything. He told me everything about his wife and her family and, you know, so I didn't really want to add salt to the wound. You know, I tried to just be a friend and comfort him through some of the ugly, evil things she did to him. So I said, well, I just wanted to let you know how I felt. And he said, you know, I feel the same way, but, you know, because our birthdays are 2 days apart, we had a lot in common. So we just, I mean, from the card, when I knew I wanted to break up with Dwayne, Dwayne was jumped on me real bad, and my husband wanted to come and get me. Well, now he's my husband. At the time, he was my friend. He wanted to come and get me. And I told him, I said, no, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it myself. I'm going to call my friend and ask her, can I spend the night with her? He's like, no, I'm going to drive over there and pick you up and bring you here. And I'm just spend the night here. That was the first time I ever spent the night over there, just when that guy jumped on me and stuff. And then I went over there and we sat up all night and we talked and cried and did it. Actually, I was really crying because of what I've gone through with that guy. He was crying because really he loved his wife back then. You know, he loved her. But I think what it was because she took an advantage of him being in that wheelchair. I mean, she started cheating around, bringing guys to the house, talking on the phone to other people, letting her family take advantage of him. So he felt like, what could he do in a wheelchair? I mean, it's not like, and he was really early in his disability too. He wasn't driving yet. You know, so he really felt a little less of a man than he felt as he began to be more independent. So he cried about that a lot. You know, he didn't want to divorce her, but what else to do? I mean, I'm still a man. Why should I be in a situation like this and just stay here just because we're married? They got married when he was 23. They got married real young. So they were married for about 10 years before I came along.
Do you know her?
I've never, well, I had seen a picture of her.
You have or have not?
I have seen a picture of her. I've never seen her, but I know people that knew her.
Yeah.
We were raised by grandmas. Our moms were in institutions. Our birthdays were 2 days apart. We had the same taste. It was like in his house, he had the same things I had in my apartment. So we just kind of clicked a little bit. And then he was kind of vulnerable at the time. And, you know, Daphne had just moved out probably about a year ago before I came along to work for him. So he was still kind of fresh with that. You know, that still was new. Still trying to get over the fact that he's been married for 2 years and still trying to go on. And didn't think he was going to ever meet anyone he could talk to about anything. Because, you know, Veronica was her baby's father. And he didn't talk to Levy a lot. He kept a lot of stuff inside.
Like you fell in love with him before you quit?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you have been through an abusive relationship the way I have, you find yourself falling for someone that comes along and you just, it's like, where have you been? You know, I've been with this guy for almost maybe 3 years, and he was awful, you know. Then someone comes along, he's gone through the same thing with his wife. She was pretty awful, so we kind of just, we had that connection at the time, so it was kind of easy. And it might have not just been in love at first, it could have just been vulnerability at the time. We were both hurt, sad, and we kind of cling to each other, and it kind of made us have a lot of deep feelings for one another. But I don't think the in love might have not came right away. It kind of grew as time went on. Mm-hmm.
how long before
Mm-hmm.
did you, how long before you moved in?
Let me see, I was there, I think about a year later, because by that time Edie was about to leave. She was gonna move to Austin, I think, or either, I know what it was. She decided that since I was there, it didn't make sense for her to be there too. Because I pretty much had everything down, I knew how to take care of them and clean up, and, you know, we still needed extra help, but she was feeling like Sterling didn't really need her around. You know, because her family sent her down here to live with him after Daphne moved out, right, just to help him out some.
The VA came by on a regular basis,
Yeah,
right?
they did. Chris, which is no longer at the VA, and what's her name? Oh God. It was a home health care agent that came in from the VA. I know you know this lady because she still married to Mary Kay to me. Faye Young. They came down a lot, you know, just to make sure his wounds were being taken care of.
They did like a home visit.
Yeah, home visit, just to make sure that he didn't have wounds. We was taking his oxy. Just make sure he's taken care of. That's their job.
I remember, I think once a week sometimes, right? Or
Twice
that
a
often?
week.
Twice a week.
Mm-hmm. They came like sometimes twice a week. Veronica checked on them all the time because she had a license. And, you know, he didn't have a lot of wounds when I met him. So, you know, it's not like he really needed home health care to come all the time. And he only went to a visit once a year to the VA just to get his annual. He was pretty healthy. So he wasn't like one of those bed-bound people that needed somebody there all the time. Because the only thing Sterling got in a wound probably as big as your shoe in the back of his leg, and it got real deep. That's because we broke up and he got with this other girl. She convinced him to go and get it looked at, and you never take a wound from the VA that they only deal with people in wheelchairs to a Methodist hospital that don't deal with people in the wheelchair. So they cut it and debrided it, and it got worse, and it got deeper, and it went all the way into his blood system. And by that time, they had to then that's when they started coming more, like 3 or 4 times a week, because he had a machine on his leg, and it was pretty much sucking his skin back to the surface. So they had to come more then. And it's called a back machine, VAC.
I'm trying to get a hold of Veronica.
You know what? She was at the funeral. I talked to her all the time. I
You
called
know, there's just no way I would have known any of it.
Right.
You know?
Veronica sang the song Just a Prayer Away.
Is she okay? I know who she is now.
Yeah, she was the heavy-set, pretty-faced girl. And I called the other day just to check on her. All her numbers got changed. I was so upset.
Yeah.
And I said, because I knew she was moving, but I had her cell phone. As soon as I get that cell phone, I'm in the middle of not knowing where I am half the time, so I got stuff everywhere. When I get a hold of her cell phone, then I'll give it to you, because I know that's the way to reach her. That's going to always be a good number, not just the house number's changed. And her address, I know, has changed, because she moved in with her sister. And every now and then she calls me. But she hasn't called me this week, so I guess it's because she's moving.
I left her a message one time.
Yeah, she was in the middle of she had lost her job, and she had to move in with her sister. And she has 4 kids. She's a really nice person. And she said, she was gonna do with the Sterling, what she had to do. But really, it was kind of hard on her because she still had another funeral that same day, and she was moving. And I haven't heard from her since. And she came to the funeral.
I'm gonna read over this.
Okay.
John lives on what part of town?
Farmington and Creek Bend.
Just south of Houston.
Yeah, down there. A short time, maybe. Well, way before that.
What town is southwest?
Yeah, southwest side, maybe. And actually, Sterling Harmon is her sister. Her brother. Did you ask me earlier, was that my friend? That's guy, you should know about all the Harmon last names.
Sometimes smoked cigarettes, smoked marijuana,
Yeah, I
and
don't
what
wanna say
else?
that.
Cigars?
Yeah, but he did. Cigars, What, Black and Mild, the same thing.
Okay, the Black and Mild is type of cigar, isn't
It
it?
is a cigar, and he smokes sweet. Then the little white marijuana cigarettes, and every now and then he smokes a BD. You heard about it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's that?
It's a little cigarette that they give like at the little smoking tokes and high times. It's in a little box and they have flavors to them. The only time he would smoke those was when he didn't have any marijuana. That was like the substitute stuff.
Gotta have a substitute.
I have some, because he had to have some, it wasn't nothing, you know, so he had to use whatever came quickest.
Where'd you buy that comforter? Do you remember?
Marshall.
At Marshall's?
Mm-hmm. I was a Marshall too. Marshall's too damn, they just, they also say stuff.
You had it for a while?
I have like over 13 comforters, and I think that might have been a recent, well, he burned them a lot, you know, so I had to get another one. So this was, yeah, this probably was a recent comforter, because I remember putting all the other ones in the closet. And I just took them out and gave them to the girl that I live with, all her kids. They didn't have any comforters, so I told her if they put them in the cleaners, they can have them. Not real bad burns, just like a little hole. The kids don't notice that stuff.
I'm in bed, between the bedside table and the stove.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't light the candle when you got up that morning?
No, that candle, a candle like that usually lasts about 2 days. Then he'll need another one. And they were like those candles we get out of Randall's. He would only use those kind, the renewed ones. Then they were about this, maybe that big.
And in the day when it was blind out?
Yeah, and it was by himself.
It was only about 4 inches in diameter. And was flaming at least a foot off the bed, not like that, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I could already feel the heat as I entered the room.
Yeah, it was more smoke than anything, because it was smoky.
And I think my next sense is the smoke was getting real bad.
Yeah.
Sterling was yelling to get it off me.
Mm-hmm.
As I pulled the comforter off him, the fire got much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling's shirt caught fire and he began to scream for help.
Well, no, he didn't scream for help. He was just telling me, hurry, you know, more like that. That the help me was more like when we were on the floor and it got real bad.
Sterling was wearing a long sleeved footed sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
He slept with
Yeah.
with a hood over his head.
Yeah. Well, he sleeps with sweatshirts every single night. He never slept in a
Oh, that wasn't, okay.
Oh, no.
I thought that was just because it was cold.
No, he just, something about his body. And even in the summertime, he wouldn't wear a sweatshirt in the summer, but he always wore a long sleeve shirt. Because, you know, he didn't wear bottoms, he just wore shirts.
Every night. My harness was out in the house, and Sterling got cold very easily. Threw the comforter on the floor beside the bedside table. The comforter is burning and very hot. Smoke is filling the room. Sterling's sweatshirt was now burning hot. Burning upwards towards his face.
Yeah, well, it hadn't gotten that far yet. It was like,
It was just, you could,
yeah, because, you know, I had, you know, once I grabbed him under his arms, there was no fire there. But once I pulled him down to the floor, and I was trying to get him out of the smoky room, that's when his foot spasmed out. And that plant that was right near the thing fell over.
so
Right?
his foot knocks the plant over?
Yeah, his foot, because he's long, you know, pulling him,
6 foot.
dragging him, that plant hit, and that plant it just would fall right in the middle of the shirt on fire. And that's when the fire just went really, really crazy. Because that plant was probably as big as this chair, and it was really tall. And it had like leaves that went forward. Because, you know, some plants, the leaves are like back, and it really is, the fire probably would have been more controllable, but the leaves kind of hung over, so that's what made it worse. It was a bushy plant, put it that way. And the only reason why we kept it there is because my husband ran into the wall with the wheelchair, and there was a big hole there, a gash. And I had this thing about whenever he hit something, I would just cover it up with something, because it was too expensive to keep fixing it every time you hit it.
Dark from the smoke, right? That's what
Yeah.
you meant.
Yeah. It wasn't like dark.
Yeah.
I couldn't see nothing. The only thing that kept it lit was the fact that plant was just really flaming and, you know,
Plant burning gave some light.
yeah, the plant was in this tad bit light, but yeah, it had gotten real smoke. Even when the policemen, they decided not to go through the front, the smoke was coming toward the door. They were going to go in, but once they saw that smoke coming so heavily toward, they went around the house, got the water hose, broke out the back window, which was in the bathroom. They knocked the window out, stuck the water hose through it, and we were pushing it in, and they were trying to spray it, but we didn't have a spray nozzle. They had to kind of push their finger. It wasn't getting a lot of water. They were trying to make it where you can see the person, because they were the first ones on the scene. Then, of course, the fire department, the ambulance, and everybody else started to come after them.
Yeah, it doesn't take long for smoke, especially when you're rushing around to
Yeah, it was
Get
all
to you.
over the house. That's why they wanted me to leave, because they were thinking that I was gonna inhale, but I wanted them to come in so I can show them where he was so they can try and help him, thinking maybe they could help him since I couldn't help him, but they said they couldn't go in, they had to go in through the backyard, you know, and they needed some water to make the flames kind of go this way so they can find, they wanted to see where he was. That's why they used the water. So that was good.
I think the stove was on and the fireplace was burning.
Yeah, it might have been.
Maybe.
You know, my husband, was he up that day? Yeah, he was up on Sunday. And I think he might have went in there to light his cigarette or something. So sometimes we'd like to do that, right on the stove, just, because we didn't have flaming stove, we had flat stove. And it kept him warm too, so he stayed by it a lot, because that house was so kind of cold at times.
Pillow under his foot and a pillow between his legs.
Behind
This
his
was
back.
every night.
Every night.
Covered Sterling with his.
Ever since he's been in that wheelchair for 10, 12 years, he actually he'll be in a wheelchair 12 years in September. So ever since he's always had that done.
He may have had a pillow over his face. I don't remember if he had it over his face this night. I don't remember what was on. Sterling had a very money problems.
Mm-hmm.
They were bad, right?
Well, when you say bad, it was because my husband, I don't know if you knew this, but he used to hang Gary.
Who?
Gary.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even know anything about the police coming to the house?
Yeah, Gary's the old nurse, the male nurse,
That's the
the
one.
gay guy. Was like a gay guy or something?
You're talking about Patrick,
Who got arrested there, Patrick or Gary?
Gary.
Okay.
Gary's the one I set up. I don't know if y'all knew that. But
I don't know who, I don't know who.
what happened was Gary was a Sterling's nurse. He came there and said he was a preacher, and he really wasn't. I don't know if he really was. He came there, and he was supposed to have been Sterling's nurse, but found out he had a disc in his back, and I had to do all the lifting, and he did, like, the cooking and the bed changing and rooms, and he did the stuff that I could have done. He was really hard to lift because he was a man. My husband wanted another man. He felt uncomfortable. When we got married, we tried to limit women as much as we could, and I guess he thought it would bother me, but it didn't, as long as they did a good job. But Gary came there, and he was supposed to be a Sterling's friend, but what he was doing was he came into the house and he started being bossy. You know, like, I would tell him that, you know, Sterling shouldn't smoke weed in the house. When my son was at home, I didn't like Sterling smoking, because I didn't want my son to smell it. But he would tell Sterling that it was his house first, you know, and you know, he should be able to smoke in his house. And then he started smoking outside the house.
How long has he been gone?
Forever. About 3 years. He's on the street somewhere, cracked out now. Veronica called me a week ago and told me, she said, Todd, I saw Gary at a convenience store. And she said he is so cracked out now, and I'm glad that I did do what I did toward, my husband to this day don't know that I set Gary up. But I had to, me and his dad was very, very close, and we talked about it. I said, I don't know what else to do. This guy came in here, Sterling's giving him $1,000 a month to cut grass. He's giving all his money to the kids, to Gary's kids and his wife.
Dude, that's where his money problem started?
That's where the money problem started. When my husband, me and my husband never had problems till Gary came along. We were fine. What happened was Gary came there and told him that God told him that I wasn't the one, that I was cheating, that I was, he made Sterling believe everything he said. And then in my husband's mind, he's in a wheelchair. He's thinking Gary knows, my husband wasn't 100% religious. So because Gary could sing gospel, he knew everything about the Bible. So he believed everything he said. So Gary started being bossy. Then my husband kind of fleed away. He would start spending the night from home, started dating the girl Kimber. And I talked to his dad every day for like 6 months. He told me, he said, whatever you have to do to get Gary up out of there, because I'm in Jersey. And for some reason, he felt that Sterling was doing more than we at the time, because Sterling's personality changed. He started being mean.
What year was this?
Oh, gosh. Gary's been gone 3 years. I would think he's been gone about 3 years.
So in
Maybe
probably
maybe
2000?
I think 2 years. Gary's been gone 2 years. Because he didn't stay long. He was in Sterling's life for 1 year only. And what happened was when he got arrested that day, we hadn't heard from Gary since. Because I think he got on, we saw him at
He filed bankruptcy in 98.
that was, at the time we weren't doing bankruptcy yet. Gary came after bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And when
What
Gary,
was the 98 bankruptcy? What was the big reason for that?
well, that was only because we wanted to catch up on some bills. We were trying to remodel, do things in the house. And you know that Sterling was paying alimony to his first wife, even though she didn't have any kids.
Yeah, was it the house or was it alimony?
It was wife support. I have never heard of that in my life, but
Oh, they were married in Louisiana.
that's it. He went to Louisiana to get a divorce. They told him they were going to charge him $200 a month to give her. Came back to Houston. They told him he had to pay her $1,600 a month. It was kind of kicking him. And my husband spent a lot of money on marijuana too. Like sometimes $1,000 a month on that. With the fact that he was paying alimony to Daphne and stuff. So his bills got a little behind. He spent a lot of money, and Sterling was very generous with his money.
Do you think it was 98 when he filed the first bankruptcy?
I'm thinking it was.
And that was, you felt like that was because of
That was from the
ex-wife?
The ex-wife alimony. He lost a lot of stuff. When she moved out, Sterling didn't have anything. They gave her half of everything. So she took TVs, blah, blah. So we were trying to catch up, and we were trying to buy things for the house. Really, we couldn't afford to. So we were pretty much juggling the bills and buying stuff to make his house back full again. Because she took everything out of there. And that's how we got behind. So we filed bankruptcy. And it was only they convinced us that it helps you get caught up for a couple months, Then after that, you still got to pay the bills. It doesn't go away. It just kind of helps you get a leeway.
Well, this was a 7-month, so it should have gotten rid of everything.
Well, I don't know, because this Chapter 11 that I'm doing now, but some of that stuff is still on there. I don't know. We think we had a really shady attorney with the first deal, because when this other guy pulled up the credit, some of that stuff was still there. And some of it was discharged, some of it wasn't, but he said he was going to go ahead and put it in this Chapter 11 so it will disappear completely. So yeah, we've only filed 2 bankruptcies. He was paying her wife support. That's what it was called on the deed. The deed they gave him at the courthouse. Wife support $1,600 a month. Sterling's car note was. I know a lot of people thought because Sterling makes $6,000, $7,000 a month, and then I work, that we really had a lot of money, but Sterling spent a lot of money on, his car note is extremely high because he has all that equipment in it. I mean, we had mortgage and then, just basic bills. And he liked to spend money. When he had a nurse or an attendant, my husband seemed to help other people with their bills. That's where Gary came in. He started helping Gary pay his rent. Gary he never had his car note money. My husband never turned anyone away. He said God gave him all this money, so, he should be able to help other people. But it put us in a hole sometimes.
Used a different attorney this time.
Oh, yeah. David Berry. And he's the other guy. Name was David, too. Yeah.
Venable.
David Venable. That was his name. This one is David Berry.
How'd y'all get along?
Me and Sterling had a really interesting relationship. We had a good relationship. The only problem that me and Sterling had, and I don't know who you talk to, is that my husband was very generous.
Well, just know that I know that you're just the two of you that live there.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And my son.
so
Now,
only maybe I'll be.
and they don't call him, but we had problems because when Sterling would bring people in that were new, he seemed to get too generous. You know, he wanted to help them with it. You know, they come there and you think their life is together, pretty much like they don't have any problem. My husband's co-signed for nurses' cars because they came there and said they had transportation and found out they didn't have transportation. So we were always helping people that we thought were coming to work. So I was really hard on that kind of stuff because his thing was his dad and I had built a relationship, and he wanted me to not let anyone take an advantage of Sterling. So he wanted me to stay on my guard all the time because Sterling couldn't really defend himself. So we've had nurses. I mean, we hired Charlene, and that was the second nurse after Gary. She came before Gary. We fired her, and my husband hired her back after Gary. And the first time we fired her was because she was doing cocaine in my son's room. I found out her and her husband. And I knew it was a distinctive smell. I just couldn't place it. I knew it was different from what I normally smell in the house. And I went in there one day while she was gone, and I found one of those little tubing pipe things on the floor. And I went to my husband with it, and he said that, well, Charlie, what are we going to do if we fire her? I said, well, I just have to stop working again, and then I'll have to do the work. And what happened was he said, well, they're so good because it was her and her husband together working for him. Her husband did the lifting. He was on the crack, and I didn't understand. I said, Sterling, what if he drops you when he's high or something? So he said, no, he's pretty strong. So this guy can lift Sterling completely out of the bed, and Charlene would put him, you know, like put his clothes on and get him, you know, that stuff. So they were pretty, my husband thought they were good for care. But, you know, but for anything else, you know, he wasn't good. So I told him, okay, this is...
You remember his name, the husband?
Yeah, come on, how could you ever forget his name? Oh, come on, Charlie Wilson.
I'll write you in a little while.
Wilson Sampson.
Wilson and Charlene Sampson?
Uh-huh. And, you know, I didn't really want them fired. I just didn't want them in the house I didn't like my husband smoking weed, for number one. But it was something he did before I ever came along. But then when you have a little 8-year-old in the house, there's just certain things that just don't have to be in the house. So I went to him and I asked him about it. And he said, well, what we'll do is we'll just tell them to move out and they can still work. I said, okay, that's what you want to do. So I guess she assumed I convinced my husband to do it. She got really angry and came home one night and pulled a knife on me. And my husband knocked it out of her hand. And then from
I
that...
narrowed that down a little bit, but they ended up firing them, and she had pulled a knife on you, right?
Well, no, my husband told her that, Charlene, my wife doesn't feel comfortable with you in the house doing crack. They denied it, but I knew it was there. And she feels that you should work from where you were staying before. We let them move in because it was convenient. And my husband said that helped them save money. Whenever I need them, they're right next door in the next room. So I told him, I said, if they're going to work for us, they don't have to live with us. His dad kept saying, we don't have to let every nurse move in with us.
You just wanted them to live somewhere else.
They needed to go back to their home. They lived they had an apartment. But my husband wanted to live with us so it could be convenient. You know, for her to have to come away from Willcrest all the way to Sugar Land. So she got upset one night because my husband went to her and told her, my wife don't feel comfortable with what you're doing in the house. I mean, they didn't clean up or anything. And they were really, really filthy. They had a refrigerator in my son's room. They didn't ask to put it in there. We had roaches in there, and I was angry, and the house was always so clean. So my husband said, well, I'm going to ask them to move back home. So my husband said, but let me tell her. I said, okay. So what happened was she came home one night. She was really, really stoned, I think. She came in the kitchen. She got the knife out the kitchen. I didn't even know she had it. I just happened to go to the living room, and she jumped in my face with the knife, and it was a big butcher knife. And she said, "Oh, you're scared now, huh? You better be scared." And she told me, and her husband knocked it out of her hand. And my husband was in that little hideout room that he was in with a recliner. We don't have one now, but we had one back then. And the recliner was something he sat in when he wanted to like stay in for a whole week and had to keep his feet up because he had a room that was too bad. And he told her, "Charlene, you got to get out. Gotta go." And that was the last straw. I mean, start pulling knives, and that's enough. And he told her to leave. So, we didn't have her anymore. So we ended up hiring Gary. That's when Gary came. I did it for a while. And, until my husband started to see that it was kind of making me real tired. I had to go take care of my grandmother. Oh.
That's all right.
I had to go take care of my grandmother and him and my son. So he was trying to give me a break. He said, "Well, we're going to hire somebody else, but this time we'll get a man." And then Veronica referred Gary. She knew him in the apartment complex she worked for. And she called the one that said, I know these Christian people named Gary and Hal.
So he was supposed to be a minister?
Yeah,
Before?
at a church. When he came into the house, we never seen him go to the church. We never even hear him talk about the church anymore. It's like pretty much.
But he ended up having a bad drug problem too?
He had a drug problem before he moved there. We didn't know. His wife called me a week ago. She's never getting a divorce. She said she heard about it on the news. She wanted to call me and check on me. And she said, "I wanted you to know that I'm so sorry what Gary did to you. But Sterling did love you when he was out there with Gary. But Gary is very cunning. He can make you do things that's not right. And I had to figure that out on my own. And my girls were very afraid of him." And she said, "He's out there in the street, cocaine out somewhere." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Do you still love him?" And she said, "Yeah, but I have 2 daughters, and they're not his."
He had Sterling smoking?
And his dad thought so. That Sterling, the person that I knew, Sterling, the sweetest thing in earth, went from the sweetest person to really mean. Everybody was really kind of shocked at some of the things he was saying. And his dad said, "Tara, I bet you that guy got Sterling doing something else. Sterling is too good of a person. Personalities just don't change just by meeting another person." And his dad told me to do whatever you have to do to get him out. So what happened was, that's when I called the association, pretended like I was someone else, told them that there was weed in the house at Torrington Court. And I ended up talking to a narcotics guy, and I told him, I said, "Look, my husband is a good person. I love him very much. I don't want him to get in trouble. He does smoke marijuana. He's been smoking for years, but there's this nurse here who took over. And I think he's got my husband doing other things. I mean, my husband tore up his van. He never tore up his van before, riding with this guy.
Gary was arrested in the house too, right?
Yeah, he was. They took him out the same day. They told my husband they were going to arrest him too, but, I guess they didn't want to wait for me to put his clothes on. So they put him on probation. And he went to a drug class for a little while, and then he got off real quick. Because, like I said, he wasn't a bad person. He just got caught up with Gary convinced him that he was God, I guess. I don't know. He just really convinced Sterling that he was God. And I think he was trying to move in and move me out. Because, he had a big family, a mom.
You think Gary wanted you out?
Yeah, he wanted to move me out of that
Did
house.
Sterling ever want you out?
No, not like that. One time he wanted me out, and that was because he felt like being in a wheelchair. Sterling had mood swings. Sometimes he would say, "Why do you want to be with me? You're walking." I'm sitting there, you mean you want walking. So in his mind, he started to think, I'm just going to let her go on. I'm going to make her leave because she doesn't need to be with me for the rest of her life. I mean, she's young. I don't want to ruin her life by taking care of me forever, But he didn't understand it wasn't about that. When you fall in love with someone, you don't fall in love with their disability. You fall in love with who they are on the inside. So, so I have left the house a couple of times, and when I left, he get in a relationship with someone else, and then I get in a relationship with someone else, and then we find ourselves right back to where we were. The girl he was dating, he called her Tara all the time. The guy I was dating got sick of hearing Sterling's name, so we just kind of broke up.
This was before marriage.
Yeah. That's before marriage. And then We just found out, and the last time we broke up,
To your knowledge, he never filed for divorce or anything?
when he was with Gary, he did. You know what I found out by my attorney? He told me, he said, did you know Sterling Harmon went down there and filed for a divorce? And I got lost. I said, Sterling Harmon, I've never been married to Sterling. It doesn't make sense to me. He said, I'm telling you, why would he go down there and try to get a divorce? He's never been divorced, and he never wanted a divorce. I mean, he's never been married to you. I said, I think he's lying. I think he just wants trade back, so he's thinking of anything to say. So then I had to put two and two together. I said, well, maybe my husband did go down there and do that when he was with Gary, because Gary told him that he should divorce me. And by that time, Gary was trying to move into the house. And that's when Sterling's dad called down and said, Tara, whatever you do, don't move. Don't leave the house. Sterling doesn't know what he's doing. I think Sterling is on them drugs with Gary, you know, and I don't want you to leave, because what's going to happen if you leave, they're going to take over. And then I don't know what's going to happen to my son. I can't just jump on a plane and come down there like right away, because he owns 2 credentials out there. So he just was a really busy man. You know, his dad has never been to Houston, so when he got the divorce. And his family came down here in '87. So yeah, that's how I found out about the divorce. Now, it wasn't something I knew, like offhand. He never came to me and said I wanted a divorce. He went down there and filed, him and Gary, and my husband told me everything after Gary left. He told me Gary was cunning and this, that, and then he told me, he said, yeah, Sterling, he wanted me to get a divorce from you, but he never told me to file the papers. How I found out about the papers was from my attorney, thinking that Sterling Harmon was trying to divorce me. So that's how I put 2 and 2 together, because I never was married to his dad, my son's dad. But yeah, me and my husband, we broke up a lot of times, you know. We went on with, and actually, we went on with different relationships, but I still kept contact with his dad.
About in the last few months?
No. I mean, unless he just didn't tell me. I mean, no relationships in the last 2 months. Like I said, unless he just... If he had a relationship with someone, I didn't know anything about it. He didn't tell me, because our daily, every day was the same.
I don't know why.
You know, every day was the same for us. I mean, we get up every morning, I get him dressed. You know, we did everything together, so it's not like...
What about the house being repossessed? Was that happening? Was that happening?
House?
I think it was...
Foreclosure.
Foreclosure.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant my car.
No.
My car was like being repossessed. The house was being foreclosed because... No, it's not being foreclosed. We filed bankruptcy, so it stopped the foreclosure. The reason why we decided to do bankruptcy, so we wouldn't have a foreclosure. Because he said that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead on and file bankruptcy on the house and the car so we can get caught up by summer, because he wanted to go back to school and pursue photography. So the bankruptcy court people said that what they can do is call down to Litton Loan, which was the mortgage company.
Was that the new mortgage company?
Mm-hmm, because we were with RBMG, and I think he just recently got out of another loan company because his wife was on the house first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know that. They had the house together.
Yeah, they built it, right?
They built it. Well, they built it for him, but it was his loan, but she was on it with him because it was his wife. And they decided to break up, and he said, I want Daphne's name off this house. And the only way he can get her name off was to refinance again. And that's how her name got off the house. Then we decided to go with Lynn because we decided to get a mortgage loan, not really a mortgage loan, like a home equity loan. And they said they couldn't give them all the money because my husband stopped paying Daphne. And the only way he could get her name off the house, he had to pay her $9,000 of back wife support in order to get her name off the house. So he had to really actually get with Daphne, which was very hard, asked her where she come from, and she went off on him, and he got angry, called back again, begging, and telling her, you know, I really need your name off the house, because we were together. And she said, well, until you give me my $9,000, I'm not going to sign. That's what she said. So he, from the $9,000, the loan was only $13,000, so he got only $3,000 out of the whole loan. and he was really upset. But it took her name off the house, and she got her $9,000. He had to worry about that anymore, and then he had $3,000 left over. So, and how we got behind on the mortgage was, oh, I know how we got behind on the mortgage at that point. I just want to read it. Because I heard you say, why did we go into foreclosure? My husband.
Well, you know, my original thought is just like you said earlier. There was a lot of money going to that house. That he really handled a lot of money.
Yeah, it went to the bank. So
Sure, I mean, yeah.
But $6,000 is not a whole lot of money when you have $1,500 mortgage, $700 car note. I have my car note. We were trying
The van was $700 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the VA paid for the installments on that.
Yeah,
stuff, right?
but the car note was $700 a month because it was he got it in '96, and he got it brand new. And then he got a lot of other stuff done to that van, like my husband got a lot of custom stuff that the VA wouldn't pay for. So it made his car note up a little higher, $700 a month. So he had a $700 car note, and my husband had a life expense. He spent a lot of money. When he went out with his friends and me, we spent a lot. Money we couldn't afford to spend, but he spent it. My husband's thing was, I'm going to have, when his dad died and his grandma died, his thing was, I'm going to spend as much as money I want while I'm here.
He carried a lot of cash?
Never. Because people started stealing from him.
Oh, yeah.
He went up to the gas station, somebody stole $300 out of his backpack, and he came back home with 20. So he just stopped doing that and got a check card. But he never, and I promise you, at the end of the month, after all the bills was paid, Sterling might have had maybe $1,000. I paid some of the bills, he paid some of the bills. The reason why we got behind is because what happened was, Sterling tore up his van in Kimber's house. The girl he was dating from the Rockets, which was Gary's friend and her friend, and Progressive wouldn't pay for it. So my husband had to pay it out of his pocket.
Is that where he got stranded on the road?
No, he went to see Kimber one day, and he tried to go through a gate. You know how he couldn't get out and push the button, so he followed another person behind in front of him. He got caught in it, and it just kept him there, and it was all, the gate was smashed him in. So he tried to call Progressive and tell them that he had an accident, when really it wasn't an accident. He was trying to go in the gate. They found out and wouldn't pay the claim. So he had to pay out of his pocket. It was like $4,000 for him to get it repaired. So we had to come up with that money because without his van, there's just no way for Sterling to go anywhere. So that's how we got behind on some stuff. So we started pulling money from some of the bills to get his van fixed.
How about did he get, Sterling bragged to a bunch of people at the hospital about getting a pretty sizable amount of money from his dad's debt.
Yes, he got $25,000.
And what did he do with that?
He blew it. He spent his, what's that?
I was given I was given $50,000 first, and I was given 20 something like that.
It was $25,000. And what we did with the $25,000 is we got the whole yard redone. Sterling bought brand new rims that cost $5,000 cash and with the car trunk. The receipt is probably still in a box. He went and bought a brand new bra. He bought a $3,000 new Sony system for his car. He gave Trey money to get, new clothes and stuff, and he gave me about $2,000, and I paid off some of my bills. He bought my grandmother a microwave, and he bought her, it went fast. And one day he woke up, he said, "Where did all that money go?" I said, "On your van." He said, "Wow." He said, "But my dad wouldn't want me to do what I wanted to do with it." That's what he told me. I said, "Well, yeah, it's your money. And your dad gave it to you. So whatever you choose to do with it, what's the thing?" He was generous. Like I say, we ate out a lot. We did a lot of things that we really haven't had a chance to do. Like we went out to eat. Started buying a whole new wardrobe of clothes. Because Sterling had, when you get money like that, you just, old clothes he had, didn't look good to him no more. Then we bought a whole new wardrobe of clothes. Matter of fact, the clothes were still in the closet, brand new with the tags hanging off them, because he didn't wear them all the time. And he bought his best friend,
Who's that?
Andre Cunningham. I specifically remember he bought him a $500 gift certificate at Cartronics too after he got his rim for his birthday. But it went fast.
Was he talking about, did he want to buy a new van?
He wanted to trade it in, but Freedom Wheels couldn't find anyone to get it. because every time someone wanted to get it, they had to go through tier, and tier have to authorize the person who's buying the van, or their tier won't let any person in a wheelchair drive a van unless they're really able to drive it, because they don't want them to go out there and have another car wreck. So every time Sterling thought he was going to sell a van, he got turned down. He's like, forget it, so I'm just going to keep it. I don't have no more car notes right now. But you know, he's been out of car notes for about 3 months. He just finally
the van got paid off?
It got paid off finally, because he had it since '96. But you know, juggling back and forth throughout the years. But Sterling was having money problems when I met him, because you know, his wife took a lot of money from him. He was paying her all that wife support. So when I met Sterling, I didn't know anything about his money, because he didn't tell me. You know, he wasn't supposed to. So I didn't know if he was behind or if he was okay. I didn't know anything about Sugarland. You know, I lived on Fondren, you know. I had a nice apartment, you know, but I didn't know anything about him until I actually got to know him. Then he started telling me that the nurses were stealing. And that's another reason why I know you said that nobody lived in the house with me and him. Every nurse we've ever had has stole from us. Everything. We think Wilson and stole Sterling's checkbook. Somebody went out there and wrote over $4,000 worth of checks out of my husband's checking account. We never could figure out where it went. So his dad called me up one day and said, Tara, the best nurse Sterling can have is you. I mean, because if he can't trust you, then you don't need to be there, you know. He said, because all these people keep stealing from Sterling. He said, what is Sterling doing? I said, well, you know, Gary has his ATM number, you know, and he got mad about that. He said, now, why does Gary have his ATM number? Now, Gary just steals his credit card and then go out and spend all his money out of his account. But Sterling couldn't use his fingers to type in his own PIN number when he went to the bank. So somebody had to put his PIN number in for him.
Does he go to the ATM a lot?
A lot. Well, not a whole lot. I would say, no, he changed banks. He was first with Wells Fargo, then he went from Wells Fargo to Washington Mutual. Then he decided to open up an account with Andre Cunningham, which is a VA, what do you call that? Credit union account. So, yeah, he went to the bank, but the people at the bank knew him so well that if he came in there and they knew he was trying to get to the ATM machine, they would just let him come there and they would give him the money. He didn't have to sign or anything because they knew that it was his money. That's how that went.
How long has he been away from Wells Fargo?
Oh, gosh. About a year.
Did y'all have a joint account at
No.
Washington?
We never had an account together from the day I met Sterling up until now. Sterling always had an account in Wells Fargo. I did too, but we had separate accounts. Then I went to Washington Mutual, now I'm at Chase. He went from Wells Fargo to Washington Mutual to the credit union downtown, which is Key Credit Union.
What's that? And the VA?
Key Credit Union. There's one on Katy, and then there's one in the VA. There's only 2 of them.
Oh, okay, that's the one he opened with
That's
Andre.
what Andre
Okay.
Cunningham. Because I didn't know anything about it. He just came in, Andre came in the house one day because they came there on weekends and I cooked for everybody. He said, oh, Sterling opened up the bank at Key Credit Union. He said, oh, and I made sure he took care of his wife and his kids. And I just looked at him and laughed and he said, but they had, the only way Sterling can actually get, he had to tell him that was his brother. Because Sterling can't have an account there because he's not an employee.
Are you broke?
Yeah, I have about maybe, let's have my account, maybe $700. And that was only because my income tax came,
Yeah.
not put that in the bank.
I just remember you saying you didn't know how you were going to do it.
I'm barely making it. Like I said, I'm living with Angie and her kids and her husband. And I want to go back to the flower shop, but I don't know if they're going to let me come back because I ended up getting a new job at this, I don't know if you ever heard of Creations by Jean. It's right on 90. It's right before you get to here. Right there on the corner. It's a big, loud pink. Right next to the Mexican restaurant.
Larry's?
Larry's. It's right up in there with the jewelry exchange place up in there. Well, I was, before this happened, I was supposed to start before Valentine's Day. She really liked me, and she said I did a good job with the interview and doing all the stuff that I needed to do, but I had to call and tell her. She said, well, just get your head straight, first, and then whenever you think you can come back. But I'm thinking she might have gotten someone by now. Because I was at Pecan Grove first, after 59.
Did y'all have, what life insurance policies? Did you and Sterling have your own life insurance policy?
I had, and I just found that out because it came in the mail. I have a life insurance policy that I had with the job I used to work for, and I didn't know the $25,000, but it's like if I die.
Yeah.
And my husband had burial insurance. You know what? It's a lot of stuff came in the mail, but I think a lot of it was burial insurance. And they wanted like, I think it's like
Well, the VA took care of the burial, didn't they?
yeah, no. The VA didn't pay for it. Prudential did. The VA kept telling me I needed to do so many different things, and I'm thinking, my husband needs to be buried, you know, how long? So what I did was, I called Prudential, because I remember a long time ago, my husband told me, my dad got me a burial insurance policy. I thought that was really nice, even after he got the $25,000. So I called Prudential, and they gave me 2 policy numbers, and they told me that he had a burial insurance policy, but he was the beneficiary. And I said, well, is there any way we can use that to bury my husband? Because I don't want him to have to wait a month to be buried, wait on the VA. So the VA paid for him to go to the cemetery, but they didn't pay for the services and stuff. Prudential paid for that, the actual service itself. And the insurance policy were in his dad's name first. His dad passed away, it got transferred over to Sterling's name. So it's still in Sterling's name.
That was that burial, what you used to bury?
Right, and
Okay.
since there's no other beneficiaries on that insurance, he's the only one that can have it. Unless someone go and change it. I don't know, you know, maybe a family member or me if it can be changed, you know, but they're saying that it was burial insurance, and Sterling had life insurance, but he didn't have life insurance on the house, meaning that like because something happened to him, we knew that already, he didn't have life insurance for the house. He only had fire insurance. And then we found out from the VA that he had burial insurance, and then there's like a benefit that you get, like he had my son on something like for college funds, like if when he gets 18 he can go to college, stuff like that. But that was pretty much it.
So the Prudential one was taking care of, it took care of the burial.
It took care of the actual service and the wake to service, the wake to funeral. But I think the VA took care of the cemetery because it's their cemetery, and I think they paid for that. Because I think that you don't have to send them anything when a person dies. They pick it up immediately, and they already know what needs to be done. Because he was 100% service connected with that.
And the insurance policy for the home only covered fire?
It only covered fire. Do you know about potties?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
Absolutely not. What was the name of that insurance company? What was that?
Prudential?
No, the one that insured the house for fire.
The one that covered the flood, oh gosh.
They're the ones who've done the inspection on the house and all that sense, right?
Yeah. Let me see something. Texas Star? No. Colonial. Colonial Lloyd. Yeah, Colonial Lloyd. ASAP too. Okay. The insurance was originally with ASAP, which is as soon as possible insurance, but they call Colonial when you have a claim, and Colonial calls Texas Star.
I think you're right.
Oh God. And phone numbers, I have them in my black book in the car for all 3 of those people.
And you filed that claim, right?
With the
Insurance
car,
company.
yeah, I called them and told them about the house.
What are they doing right now?
Just in their inventory and stuff, just trying to see what they can throw away, what they can keep, what they can get the stuff out the backyard, you know, just trying to see, what they're trying to get it to a point where they can say, this is no good, this is good, and put it away, and store it and throw it away if they don't want it. And that's it. That's the only thing they're doing right now. trying to clean up the things, trying to get the smell out and stuff. Because, you know, there's still a hole in it. It's boarded, but there's like holes still.
Are they gonna try to fix it, or?
They're gonna fix it, but it's gonna take a long time because they don't know if it's fixable or to be torn down. It just depends on, they have technology people in there right now looking through there, trying to see how bad it is.
The structural damage?
Yeah, structural damage, that's what they do. They do structural outlook to see if it's worth keeping or worth tearing down or whatever the case might be.
You ready to read this?
You want me to read it all?
I'll tell you, I'm gonna print it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I may have left words out and all that.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I'm not a good smart reader, but I might not know what the time is. But,
I didn't get too scientific, I promise you.
no. That's why it's good to have a laptop,
Yeah.
you know?
As you read it,
Mm-hmm.
make any corrections. I may have, like if I misspelled
Yeah, I'll
Tara,
definitely read everything.
Yeah.
I'll read it for you.
read it carefully.
I will.
And when you're done, don't sign it yet.
Okay.
I'll bring in a couple guys to witness.
Okay.
Or a couple, whoever's out there.
Okay.
I got one of you, don't.
Oh, for me?
No, yeah, so you can, I tell you, you can use this to read on if you want. The other way to print.
Do you need it, Bill, or you want to keep it?
Yeah, hang on to it.
Okay.
Just keep it handy. Is
Okay.
that okay? There'll be a couple more pages.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Already?
My birthday is on the 5th. My,
Yeah, go ahead. So great?
you want me to write on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's on the 5th.
Okay, and just initial any correction you make.
Okay.
You can add, take away, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Tara reads over the typed up statement about her version of events.
How about it?
It's it. Just left something out, but I put it on the side like you told me.
Cool.
Where the part where you said that, did I get burned? I didn't, but the shirt caught on fire, that was good. But I didn't know if that meant anything, but I did.
Yeah, I did. I thought I put that shirt part in there.
That's fine.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you caught it.
Capital S, that's it. Everything else is fine.
Let me go find two fellow police officers coming here and witness your signature.
Wait.
Being that it's a police, yeah, being it's a police station, shouldn't have the trouble. I know they're not pretty, but these are the two I got.
That's fine.
There's Detective Chapel,
Oh,
and
nice to meet you.
Tara Boucher. Go ahead and
Oh.
sign all three pages. Right here.
Right there, I'm sorry.
That's it.
Okay,
All right.
that's it?
Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay, thank you, sir, appreciate it.
I guess I'll go find him.
Okay, thank you.
Did this for him?
Yes, I did. I did, I did. I mixed up something. I think they started talking about food and I thought,
Talking about food?
they were talking about Rudy.
Oh. Well, that's all they do is eat and sleep. Do you know where Sterling went? Do you remember where I said he went after what we did the next day?
Sterling Boucher, my
Mhm.
husband?
You know, we did an autopsy on Sterling, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I have some problems, and I want to tell them to you, okay?
Okay,
The reason I took this second affidavit from you
okay,
was I wanted you to give you an opportunity to tell me what really happened in the house.
okay,
Something else happened. I
okay,
know something. And it's got to be wearing on me. This whole thing has to be killing me. And I'm explaining to you why I say that.
okay,
When a person dies in a
Okay.
fire,
right,
They usually die of smoke inhalation,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Sterling did not.
Okay.
Now, what's yours?
Oh.
What do you think that means when I say that? That the ME's office didn't find smoke in Sterling's lungs?
Okay.
What do you
But I
think
mean,
that means?
there was smoke in the house, though.
Yeah, the house was full of smoke. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
But what do you think that means to me? Where do you think I'm going with that?
I guess you're saying that I'm not telling you the truth or something.
Yeah, you're not telling me all of the truth. Something else happened.
No, that's
There's something else happened that morning.
okay.
There's something horrible. There's something horrible has to be going on in y'all's life other than just the money.
Okay.
And that's what I want to hear about. I want to hear
Mm-hmm.
what made things get to a. I want to hear what was so bad. I want to hear what had gotten so bad. Sterling Crochet was dead before the fire started.
Okay. Before the fire started?
Mm-hmm.
No, because actually Sterling was still talking when he died.
I agree. That's what you're saying.
Okay.
That's my problem.
Okay.
If he's still talking, I would be able to find that.
Okay. Now, okay. But he wasn't dead in the bed. You're saying he was dead before the fire started.
Mm-hmm.
No, he wasn't dead. Not in the bed, no.
So he's yelling throughout. The room's full of smoke, and he's yelling, "Help me!"
Remember I told you that's when we got to the floor, when he was saying, "Baby, please help me," he couldn't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was saying.
I'm still going to say
Okay.
that, and the ME is going to say that
Mm-hmm.
Sterling was dead before any fire in that house, before any smoke filled the room.
Okay.
Something happened before the fire, and that's what we need to know about. Something happened that just before the fire
Mm-hmm.
that you haven't told us. Something else had to happen, Mr. Shea. Something had to happen. I'm telling you that we can prove something else happened. We can prove
Right.
that the way you described it did
Mhm.
not happen exactly that way. I'm telling you we can prove that.
Okay.
I'm asking you, face to face, I've been nice,
Okay. I know
to
you
give
have.
us the reason
Mm-hmm.
why it happened. Tell us what really happened that morning, because this is not what happened. The fire determination team is going to tell you something didn't happen that way. The fire marshal is going to say it didn't happen that way.
Okay.
What happened? Tell me what was going on in y'all's life to make it.
Nothing to where, I mean, now you're actually saying that he was dead before he hit the floor.
I'm saying he was dead before
No.
the fire, before the smoke engulfed that room.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Crochet had died.
Okay. But nothing in our lives nothing in the world could have been that bad to what you're actually
What do you think I'm
saying?
saying?
That I killed my husband. Nothing in the whole wide world is that bad. I don't care in anybody's relationship, marriage or friendship or whatever, nothing is that bad. My husband and I had money problems. You know, he did see someone, I already told you about that,
Mhm.
but nothing, our relationship
What's
was
your
fine.
thought right now? What do you, if you're saying, I'm thinking that you killed your husband, what's your thought right now?
Of you?
Yeah, what do you?
You're doing your job. I mean, I don't think I don't know what you want me to think of you. I don't know.
I just know I would be going, God damn, what? You know, I would be doing this.
Right.
All right? Something else happened, Mr. Shea. Something else happened in that house. This can be proved that the way that these events
Mm-hmm.
went down, that's not true. That is not true.
Okay.
You told us the morning. Let's just go through it again, okay?
Okay.
When you talked to the fire marshal now,
Okay.
actually when the fire marshal, because I kind of sat there, didn't say a whole lot.
Okay.
I was kind of listening, all right?
Okay.
You said the dreaming part was all true.
Okay.
The
but you also told us, and you told family, that you lit that candle that morning, that it wasn't on the stand, you said it was on the end table.
No, it was
I'm
on.
telling you the discrepancies that are there.
Right.
Okay?
Now, the candle stayed on constantly. I mean, that was never, like I told you before, the candle always stayed on unless it went down completely and then there was no candle.
Was he talking about leaving? Was
No,
he talking about throwing you out?
no.
There's supposed to be a prenuptial agreement that y'all filled out together.
Right.
Where is that?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
So,
Well, the only thing we filled out was, let me see, just like a form or something.
yeah, did a
Well,
lawyer
no,
do it?
it was no, it was actually a letter that he asked me to write a long time ago. That's like before we got married, saying that if anything ever happened, I would, there would be nothing, you know, I would leave with what I had and I would, you know, pretty much go with what he has. But I don't know if he ever took that letter and took it in and got it notarized or anything.
Now, I got an affidavit that says you actually did that.
Both the letters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I gave it to him. And I guess I assumed that he would take it like to an attorney or something and see if it could be notarized or do I need to go in or something like that.
So you don't know where that letter's at?
That letter's been around for a
Well,
long time.
So after you called the police, and I remembered you telling me that you went in and threw the comforter on the floor and then grabbed some water.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle you being mistaken at those times.
Right.
But we can sit here and we can go over this again and again, but it all comes down to Sterling not having three things in his body.
Mm-hmm.
One being the smoke and soot from the fire. And you said yourself you were coughing and choking, so there's a lot of smoke and soot.
Right.
That was not in his lungs. That was not in his windpipe.
Okay.
There's no carbon monoxide, which fire produces, right?
Right.
Built up. There was none of that in his lungs.
Okay.
And the only other explanation for that would be maybe that the bed produced all this cyanide and burned up all this stuff, and he would have cyanide in his system.
Right.
All of that's negative.
Okay.
Mr. Sterling Pouchet was not alive when that room was full of smoke.
But when he was on, I swear to you, when he was on the floor and he was right near that, whatever that little, it's like a stand there that has a TV on it. My husband was telling me then to please help him. So he was alive. He was not dead in the bed. No way.
No. And he was dead by the time he got to the floor.
No, because when I drug him, when that plate fell over on him and I pulled him toward the door I was trying to get him out of there because I could not see and I was thinking if I couldn't see, I couldn't help him. That's when he was still talking. But then when the fire department told me to leave out, that's what pretty much, you know, I guess they knew that I needed to get out the house because they knew that the smoke was getting kind of bad.
Do you remember picking the candle up and blowing it out?
No.
Do you remember telling me that, though?
I might have told you that at the first, with the fire investigator.
Mm-hmm. So yes, you did remember, or what?
Yeah, what I was saying was, Dad came in, I'm sure there was, I mean, everything was going so fast, but I might have said that, but at the same time, the camera
Yeah, we
was
actually
burning.
asked you about it again because
Right,
your husband was on fire on the bed. You said his chest was on fire.
yeah, the shirt.
Her shirt was on fire.
Right,
And that you said, I threw water on the blanket on the floor.
right.
And you said you made 3 trips to do that.
No, I only made one trip to get water.
Okay, let's say we're confused on that. We were
Okay.
confused on that point.
Okay.
I even asked you, you said, why didn't you pour it on Sterling and not the
Well, the
deal?
plan, you know, the plan was actually,
Well, I'm talking about on the bed, because we were talking about on the bed at this time.
okay. Well, because I panicked and I thought because I couldn't go get a wheelchair and I couldn't go get a commode chair to lift him up and put him in there because I thought that would just take longer. It made more sense to drag him out of the bed. And try to get him out of that room as fast as I can so I can try to control the fire. But when the fire was starting to get bad, then I was thinking that I needed the fire department here. There's nothing else. I mean, I needed help. I couldn't do it by myself.
She moved him every day.
Every
Every
single
day
day.
of your life.
But the thing about it is, moving someone from the bed to a wheelchair is a whole lot easier than pulling someone out of bed and pulling them. That's a lot of strength that you have to pull from myself onto someone else that's a lot stronger than you.
But you did. You got him basically turned around in the bed.
Yeah, because
Pulled out
that's
of the
because
bed.
when you lift, Sterling, pretty much you're lifting.
Touche, what happened in the morning in the house? Tell us what do you want somebody to look at and say? Do you want some a district attorney or a judge? You want somebody to look at this and read this and go, well, it couldn't have happened, but is that what she wants us to believe? Because that's not what happened. There's something else happened. Take your opportunity to tell what happened. Tell what was going on in y'all's life.
Nothing was going on in our life that me for what you're saying to me. I mean, like I said, we did have money.
No, nothing was worth. You're right. Nothing's worth that.
Right.
Nothing's worth the ultimate.
No, we had money problems. But I loved my husband with everything I had, and my husband...
So was he, because he had told several people that he was leaving. February 1st, he wanted this relationship over.
No, he didn't tell me that.
Yeah, he may not have. He told people that.
He might have told people that, but he never told me that. And if he did tell me something like that, then I would have just left. If I had to, maybe I have my son to take care of. But my husband never, ever gave me any kind of sign that he was leaving, because every day was the same thing. I mean, we'd get up in the morning, I would dress him, he went where he needed to go.
This morning, it was very different. The weekend was even different. Don't you agree?
No.
Well, it kind of got out of a program, right?
No, because the only thing he did different was his bowel
It was
program.
about you, yeah.
Right. That was the only thing he did different, and that was because he wanted to go to Freedom Wheels that morning. And sometimes my husband does do his bowel programs on Sundays. Because if I have to go to work on a Monday, he would go ahead on and do it
So
Sunday.
were you supposed to be at work Monday morning?
No, but remember I told you he wanted to go to Freedom Wheels to get his van worked on.
Yeah, what does that have to do with you? Because he could do that by himself, once he got loaded, right?
The bowel program?
No, go over to Freedom Wheels. I mean, he was gonna go there by himself, right?
Well, I still have to get him up in his wheelchair.
Mhm.
I mean, and put him, well, not put him in the van, but once he rolled to the van, he could go into the van, and I would just, well, yes, I did have to help him, because if the ramp is
Yeah, you're gonna
broken,
manually lift
I
it.
would have to manually do it.
I believe all of that up to that point. I believe that was the plan. What I'm being very honest about is I do not believe what happened Monday morning right about 5 in the morning. There's something else, there's something missing. I'm trying to give me a reason, some kind of reason. Was there a pillow over his face when you're pulling him off the bed?
No.
Was there a blanket over his face? Something kept smoke from getting into his lungs. Something.
He kept the hood over his head because
But he knocked that off.
Yeah, because he wanted, I guess because, he was moving his hands.
Something
But now
kept it from happening.
he could have had the pillow over his face, but I normally kept the pillow right here.
When you
And
pulled him off the bed,
Right,
was there but he's talking. He's yelling
Right.
for you to help him.
right,
He's breathing. The
Right.
man's breathing in
Right.
superheated gases, just like you, right?
right,
We're both coughing, choking.
right,
You had smoke in your lungs,
right.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I probably did, but I never went to the doctor. But I'm sure if you say so, I'm sure I
I'm
did.
sure you had to. If you said you were coughing,
Right,
then you had smoke in your lungs.
right.
There was enough smoke in the house to kill the dog and the cat.
Yeah,
Your husband had no smoke in his lungs. It killed some of the fish.
killed all fish.
Something else happened.
Nothing else happened. I don't know.
Could something have fallen on his face to keep him from breathing?
His pillow. And anybody who knew Sterling, who knew him, he slept with a pillow all the time. That's why
Well, they said he slept with a comforter over his face quite a bit.
a lot. And he
But
slept with
nobody knew about the pillow.
Yeah, he kept the pillow over his face when he didn't want to have a comforter over his face.
Okay, so was the comforter over his face when you went in there?
No, like I said, the comforter was down there, but the pillow was still here. So I'm assuming he might have woke up or whatever the case might be and knocked the pillow off. Because I don't think he ever had both. Because he can't, if the comforter is over his face, he can't hold the pillow over his face. It has to be one or the other.
If somebody's hinting to me, there's a chance that they suspect I killed my husband and or my wife, I'd be pissed. I would be so upset. I don't understand. I don't get your emotions at all. I don't. Something else happened Monday morning. He wasn't yelling during the fire. Maybe a very short period of time, very short.
Right.
And still on the bed. Because when you called 911, I'm going to give you another little piece of information.
Okay.
I had the tape. When you called 911,
Right.
it did disconnect. You're right. All that's true. But you said, I need help getting him out of bed.
Yeah, but then once I realized that I didn't know how long it was going to take him and I was panicking, I needed to try and help him myself. I've been helping my husband for 7 years.
But your husband, he wasn't helped this time. I'm sorry that sucks to say it that way, but he wasn't. I don't understand why you couldn't have got him out of the rest of the room. I wasn't there, but it's not a carpeted floor, and to me, I feel it was harder to get him out of the bed than it was out of the room. I felt like it was harder. Something else happened.
It wasn't hard to get him under the bed because once I grabbed him under his arm, I was able to...
Burning, Tara. He's burning. The bedspread beside you is
but
burning.
my husband, what you don't understand is how much I loved him.
I understand that you love him. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that you love him.
To try to get
I
him out
don't
of
doubt
there.
that you love. Something else happened.
Something else happened. I don't know.
Yes, it did. There's a quilt on the floor burning. There's no room to work there.
Yes, it was because you have the table.
Sorry, you pulled him off the bed. Everything is on fire. I'm sorry, you should have been burnt.
My shirt.
You want to cough? I understand that. I got a tape. I don't hear coughing. I don't hear kicking. What happened in the house?
That's exactly what happened. And I don't know what...
That's not going to work. It's not going to work. That cannot work. That cannot go with that story. Give us something else. Something else happened.
Nothing else. I mean, like I said, it was the candle. Like I said, my husband could have spasmed. He could have been trying to smoke.
Yeah, he made the smoking part. He never claimed to smoke. He claimed to smoke a little marijuana. The spasm part, most of his spasms in the 5 years of medical records that I have were all lower spasms.
He had really bad spasms because I
And
remember...
his lower extremities.
Right, up in here. And sometimes his arms would spasm because sometimes when his arm gets caught down here, he would move his arm.
The candle was supposed to be on the end table. You said you picked it up and put it back on the table.
It was always on the end table. That's the only way he
But
could
it was
smoke.
not, he can't reach the end. I'm talking about the rolling bedside table.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Geez, I think that's, you don't remember saying that. No, I wouldn't have put that on the hospital table? That candle?
What do you mean, like, I should never have ever done it?
Well, I think you were worried about that for a long time.
Right.
But you told us another statement that it was on the end table and not the hospital table.
No, it's never, he can't get to it on the end table. It's always on a hospital table. Every time my husband had a candle, it was always on the hospital table. Always.
So, back when you woke up that morning, you originally said something about, he was asking you if you're leaving, about 4:30. He was asking you if you're going to leave, and you told us he asked about the dog. And you said he woke you up and you thought you were dreaming. Do you remember if it was the smoke or him that woke you up?
It was the fact that I smelled something distinctive. And as far as the dog
I
is
mean, did you
concerned-
worry about it being in the fireplace?
No, because the fireplace was kind of low. It wasn't like as high as normal.
That new account, did that bug you? That he had that new account?
No, because he told me that he did not like those banks because they open on weekends. He wanted to bank somewhere where he didn't have to be able to go to his account on the weekend. No, that didn't bother me. Because, I mean, it
You
was...
told us that day that there was you had some kind of warrant for something that was part of the reason y'all had to file bankruptcy. What was, you mind telling me about that? Yeah.
I had warrant?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell you I
You
had
didn't?
warrant. No.
You didn't have hot check warrants or anything?
No, I told you that someone stole my husband's checkbook a long time ago, one of the nurses. But no, I didn't say anything about having warrants.
Well, I'll tell you, that morning of the fire,
Mm-hmm.
a constable showed up out there to arrest you. He really did, for hot checks. That was because of a stolen checkbook, you think?
But it was my husband's checkbook.
Well, he wasn't there to get Sterling. But I'll verify that. Did you get paid, on the BOW program, did you get paid to do that?
$380 a month.
Was it an hourly deal or what?
No, just by
They
the
just paid
month.
you by the month?
They paid me by the month.
How long, and Shauna, she was your first neighbor or friend to get there, right?
Yes, she was. So she had my son and
Yeah.
her little girl.
She took him to school that morning?
No, he didn't go.
And you didn't light the candle that morning.
My
You
husband
did
can't.
tell some family that you did, since you got up and lit the candle that morning.
No, I didn't leave. The only thing I got up
You
to
think
do.
that I'm just mistaken?
Yeah, the only thing that I put on my husband's table was water to make sure he could drink. But the candle, everybody who knew Sterling, everybody who knew him, people who didn't really know him and just come in, they knew that candle. They always asked me, and a lot of times I didn't tell them because I didn't want them to know what.
Well, what about, Andre told me that he thought Sterling smoking in bed was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He said he said he just wouldn't believe that in a million years, but.
Sterling
Andre-
always smoked in there. There was times when Andre came, well, you know, all the time that Andre came, now, you know, Andre just started coming around like maybe 4 months ago, but because he always Sterling went where Andre went. Andre never came to the house. But there was a couple of times where he came to the house and Sterling was in bed and the candle was right there. So if the candle was there by the bed, it's always for Sterling to smoke. It was never just for it to smell good around there, but it was always to smoke.
You remember what you told the 911 operator? Because on the first call, you said you needed help getting him out of bed. You
Right,
didn't say anything about fire.
right.
That bothered me, I'm not gonna lie, that bothered me like that. Because that's too many people were holler fire.
Right.
You know,
I
my
was,
husband's on fire. I know you were freaked out.
yeah, I was.
Because if this is an accident, you're freaked out. But if you're not, you're thinking about it. You know?
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. And I know, like I said, I mean, I don't know.
Did you and his father were pretty close?
Very. We love each other very much. When he passed away in April of last year, it was very hard on me and my husband both.
How about the grandmother?
She passed away a month ago before this, and it was
Why did he drive down there by himself?
because he said that he wanted to go down there because he knew that he didn't want to ask me to ask I just kind of started with home health care, with the flower shop, and he didn't want to inconvenience her with the fact that I was new. And he told me, and I begged him, I begged him to take my son with him, even though he could drive out there by himself, but if he needed to stop at a convenience store or something, my son can run in there and get him something to drink or eat. He didn't want to keep my son out of school, but he didn't go. He got in Louisiana.
That's about Lafayette,
And turned back around, because he said he called me about 2-something in the morning, and he said, Tara, I thought
Well, I tell you, the family is real worried about that. That's when they began worrying. They said they couldn't get Sterling to call them back. So the numbers were being changed at the house.
The reason why I got the number changed was because we was filing bankruptcy, and my husband told me to change the number, so when the creditors started to call and say, blah, blah,
Good
blah.
reason to change it.
Right, but he told me to do that. And as far as them returning, my husband was not a phone person, and honestly, he was angry with his sister, because he said his sister was the reason why his dad died, because she worried him about money all the time. And he was,
Which is that, so Rita?
no, those are his aunts.
That's not, which is his sister?
Milan,
Oh, I hadn't talked to her.
I can't think of her first name right now. It's like a Melandino or something. That's her last name. It was any a big story. I can't think of her first name right now. And my husband just never returned people calls. I would call Auntie Rita for him and tell her. I said, you know, Sterling, he went over somebody's house or whoever house he went over.
You say what happened that morning? What really happened in that house? How did it get? Tell me what was really going on in that house. I have another surprise for you. Okay? Tell me what happened in that. I don't know if I can break that to you or not. But I just don't know how you don't think we couldn't have figured out that he may have been dead before that fire started.
But I mean, you know, I don't know.
Well, what do you want me to do with it? What would you do if you were me? Because he couldn't take care of himself. In a lot of ways, he was more helpless than a baby.
No, my husband was very independent. If I
Your
knew
husband
him.
was a quadriplegic,
Yes,
and
but
he could not have defended himself.
Oh, well, in a situation like that, I do understand that part. But my husband was very, very independent.
I understand that he was, in his position, yes. Yes. But once laid in that chair, he was very independent. In that bed, he was not.
No.
He was totally self-sufficient on you.
That's right. He depended on me for everything. And other people, too, not just me.
Well, there was only 2 people in the house.
Yeah.
And that's, I can talk to, and it's like I told the family, everybody I talk to feels real weird about this.
Okay.
Everybody
Okay.
feels very strange. There's some neighbors that wonder why Tara would come home in the evening and sit in her car for a couple hours, just sit out there.
Because I'm usually on my cell phone.
Well, okay, but they just
I mean,
all
for
kinds of
whatever
questions.
reason.
How about
Right.
not calling like Alita or somebody for a couple days after the fire, or Rita?
Well, because Sterling told me that Auntie Nita had a nervous breakdown after Grandma passed away.
Mhm.
So I didn't call her because I didn't want to upset her. So I called Auntie Rita instead, and I told her.
Now, she's the one who stood up at the funeral, right?
No, that was actually.
Rita.
Nita was the one who went up to the funeral with the daughter leading. And Rita was the one that had the short blonde hair that was sitting down below.
No, Nita has kind of red hair.
They both have red hair. Nita was the one that had long red hair, though. And Nita, oh God, so many Litas. Rita was the one that was sitting out there in the audience, out there among the people. Her hair was really, really short and blonde. That's the one I called.
Do you know how much is owed on the house? I forgot.
Maybe 89, 90, something like that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I need to go back to the house again.
Okay.
Give me permission to go back there?
Oh, go back to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant go back to it in the computer.
No, I need to go back to the house, and I forgot to do it.
Okay, you need a code, because they put a banner lock on it or something they called it.
Do you be willing to give us that?
Yeah. Are you gonna go this morning?
No, probably not.
Okay. The reason why I asked was because
Why?
No, the reason why I asked was because I have to pick my son up, and he's right around the corner. So I didn't know if you wanted me to just give you the code or whatever.
Oh, it's up to you.
It don't matter to me. It's easy.
Oh, yeah. I know that the fire determination team's there at lunch.
Yeah. I think they got the code and everything.
What time do you pick your son up?
Well, he has another, those braces that he had in his mouth, it caused him to have a really bad infection, and Polygraph couldn't do anything, so I had to take him to Castle. So he has to leave school about 2 o'clock.
Today?
Well, the only reason why is because I have somebody else's truck. My belt popped off my Camaro.
I'll tell you what, we're trying to figure out a way to explain. My biggest problem is the ME's ruling that he was dead before the fire started. Before the scene. And that, we're working real hard on it. I guess the only thing I know to ask you is if you want to submit to a polygraph on that.
Okay.
Because I can get that done quick.
Okay.
We can get it done. We can get it done today.
About what time though? Because I have to pick my son up in about 45 minutes.
Well, can you come back?
Well, I'm in somebody else's truck. I would have to pick them up from work and find out what, I don't want to just keep her truck all day long and not consider the fact that she's
Well, let's get all this done today. Let's figure out a way to get all of this done today.
Okay.
I'm gonna meet with the medical examiner. Huh?
Okay.
This is probably next week.
Mhm.
And if he rules it homicide,
Mhm.
you're in bad trouble. You're in bad trouble.
Right.
And this is what you want us to carry. And of course, something that first of all, some of it sounds kind of ridiculous. A lot of this sounds like blowing the candle out and putting the water on it. All of that sounds kind of, we weren't there. We can do that. But that's the story we have to go on. That's the one we'll go on. But I don't think that's the correct story.
Right.
I know.
I mean, I'm not God, so I can't,
We'll get a couple more people. Yeah, it's just the census start.
Okay.
That's all right.
That's the right one? Okay. February 19th.
Say, do you understand what I'm saying
Yes, I
about the fire?
Yes, I do.
We know what killed Sterling Couchet. I know what killed him, and it was not the fire. The fire did not kill your husband.
Okay.
And is that what you think? Is that what you believe killed him?
I think the fire did kill him. I
Well,
don't.
it didn't. The fire did not kill him. The medical examiner will make that ruling.
Okay.
Now, what do we carry in? Because the fire had nothing to do with your husband's death.
So what actually happened there?
That's what I want to know from you.
But you asked me the day of, you asked me at the fire investigator, and you're asking me now.
Asking you what?
I know, I'm saying you asked me the day it happened. Because you were the one that was at the house or something?
Mm-hmm.
At the, inside of Susan's house.
Do you remember telling Baker at the house that you drove Sterling out by his feet?
No, I did not tell him I drove him by his feet.
Okay.
I would have never dragged him by his feet, because if I drag him by his feet, his
He was
hands...
on fire. It doesn't matter what happened. If he's on fire, it doesn't matter.
But if you're thinking about it, if you drag him by his feet, that's even harder, because you're pulling me.
Well, we know that you didn't drag him by his feet. I know that, but investigator's going to say that told you maybe drug him by his feet to get him out of bed.
Okay.
Your husband was not killed by the fire. Something else killed your husband.
Nothing else. I mean, I don't own a gun.
All right,
I don't
how
have a
about
knife. I don't have any of those things.
Believe me, I wouldn't have asked you that if it was something like that. When you grabbed him and picked him up, was there a pillow over his face?
The pillow was down there. That's why I'm trying to explain to you. That pillow that he kept in between him at all times, it was his choice. Some nights he had it on his face, some nights he didn't have it on his face.
Okay.
Because there's
This night, I only care about one night.
Okay.
That was Sunday night,
Mm-hmm.
Monday morning.
Right.
When you reached around and grabbed him, was there a pillow and comforter over his face?
the comforter and the pillow was right between here. And I'm
So it's the pillow and comforter are both on fire.
well, actually, I don't think the pillow did because the pillow must have been moved over or something. Because sometimes, like if it got too warm, because he wore a Foley thing.
Tara, I'm trying to give you an explanation. I'm trying to give you one.
Right.
When you picked him up, when you grabbed him,
Right.
was there a pillow against his face where he could have suffocated? I'll give you that one.
No, the pillow was not.
Something was there. Something was on his face.
Well, maybe the comforter or even the hood, because the hood was bigger than his face because it was an extra large shirt. That was the only thing that was on his face, and he kept it because it had the drawstring in it. It wasn't tied really tight. So
Was it there or not?
Yeah, the hood was.
So it was on his face.
Yes, the hood was on his face.
It covered his face.
No, not his complete face, but it hung over his face.
So it was on his head when you pulled him out of the bed.
Right.
Okay, now you're sure about that?
The hood was on his head.
Okay, because he didn't knock it off. Because you did that a while ago. You actually made that motion that he knocked it off.
Right.
Right? What? I don't know what you mean.
Okay,
Either it was there or it wasn't there.
The hood was on. He kept the hood on his head because it was cold in there.
I know the heater was out. I know that.
Right.
I know it was always cold.
And the furnace heating was
The fire did not kill him. He did not die of smoke inhalation. He didn't die of the fire. He died before the fire. Or right when the fire started. Most of the fire was on his side of the bed?
Yes.
No other fire on the other side of the bed?
No.
And the candle was on top of the bed, for sure?
Yes.
When you walked in there, there's a burning
Because you know the
candle
the bedside table, it's like this table right here, matter of fact, because down here it has these wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And when it goes up under the bed, it can actually go up under and come toward you.
Yeah.
You know, so, yes.
Yeah, we asked you about that. You said that you wouldn't have put a candle up there.
The candle always stayed on the bedside table. Always. Always. Before I even met Sterling. When I first came into that house.
So when you drug your husband out of the bed, the hood was on or off?
The hood was, when you say over his face, that's
Well,
what
okay,
I'm
I know there's a
talking
hole in the front of the
about.
bed. I know that.
Right.
Okay,
So
where was it? Where was
It
this
was
pillow?
still on.
Where was the pillow?
The hood was still on. But what I got confused by, you asking was the hood on his face. That's why I said, no, he must have knocked it off. Because normally it's not inside
Something
of his
was
face.
on his face.
Well, you know he slept with a pillow. Like I said,
I'm
I don't
asking you
know.
about that pillow.
The pillow is the only other thing that my husband kept besides a comforter over his head, a hood over his head,
But that wasn't
or a
over
pillow
his
over his head.
The comforter was not over his head,
No.
right?
He might have pushed it down. But normally he keeps when I walked in there, the first thing in my mind was, I need to save my husband. So I wasn't looking
So
for all the
he's
things.
sitting up, he's in his bed, sitting in a seated position, sort of seated.
No, he was on his side. He never.
Which way is he facing? Is he facing the TV room or the bathroom?
Well, his body is like this
Mhm.
on his side. His face is forward. But if he wanted to, his face is more toward the bathroom because that's the way the pillow is behind him in the bed. But if he wanted to turn, he could turn just a little bit like toward the music room where it said Stone's Hideout.
So the pillow was under his left side of his body, or the right side?
Whatever side of his body that's facing toward the hideout, that's where the pillow was.
The closest to the hideout.
Yes, his put it
So
this
that's where
way.
you put the
his-
pillow.
his
The
butt-
pillow could, if he push the pillow, it falls off the bed.
Yeah, his butt was facing the hideout, put it that way. His rump faced the
So
hideout.
how does he turn back to light the cigarette?
Because that's what I was telling you, he takes his arm, this arm here, he can take the table and pull himself this way. And he turns himself around a little bit like that.
What does he reach in and grab then?
He's actually trying to put his face toward the candle and the actual cigarette in order to smoke.
So actually this other pillow, these pillows, this is it. the key to this. Where was this other pillow that was on his, that he would sleep sometimes on his face? Where is it?
Because his body is facing this way, his butt is facing toward that room there, and his knees are going toward the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? So the pillow is usually right there, because he can take his arms and bring the pillow up high to his face. Because he always kept a pillow on his face at all times. And it was only because I guess it helped him sleep better, maybe. I don't know.
If it's just a, okay, so nothing's covering his face. So there's no nothing's covering his face when you went in the room. You're looking right at Sterling's face when you
Yeah,
came in the room.
because what happened was he must have knocked it off. Because I think when he was, put it this way, when I woke up at 4 something and I was getting ready to get up, he had the comforter over his face and his pillow. And I
So both of them were over it then?
Yes. And I heard him say to
Did
me,
you lay on top of him then? Tell him good morning or something? Something happened right then, because it's the first time you told us about the pillow and comforter. Now you're sure about that. So what happened right then?
He asked me, he said, don't forget if you're going to go pick up Trey. Or then he asked, or are you going to go pick up Trey?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, don't forget to put some water or something by the bed. And I said, well, the water's already full. I said, do you want me to put some
This is
ice
at 4 or
in?
something?
That was about 4 something. That's when I wasn't leaving yet. I was just actually going into the living room.
For the, on this, there was never a phone call made from Shauna or from the house, right?
No, because what I did was I ended up calling Shauna.
And she called her a pretty good while later.
No, actually I called her maybe immediately because I knew that my son was with her and I wanted her to, I called whoever I could think of. I didn't have any neighbors' numbers, so I just called. She was the first person that came to my mind.
At what point did you put all your stuff, like your purse and your address book and all that in your car? When did you do that?
I didn't, that
Yes,
stuff
you
was
did.
that stuff
No,
was,
that stuff was thrown in that car. All right, stuff was
I never
thrown in
went to
there.
the car. I never went to the car.
Well, you certainly did. You were
Not
standing by the car the whole time.
Not
right?
that morning, but I didn't throw any of that stuff in the car. When that man went back in the house to get my purse, it was in the couch, the cell phone was in the couch, and the lady asked me did I want something else she asked me, and that was all. But I never threw
But it wasn't there, it was in your car. All that stuff was in your car, your purse, your cell phone, all your address book was all
They
in the
gave
car.
all my stuff to Shauna. Now,
Uh-huh.
Shauna might have put it in the car.
No,
But
I took it out of the car and gave it to John. I'm telling you, I did that.
I never went to that car. I never,
Well,
but it might have been in there from the previous night, but I didn't leave, I mean, I knew what kind of neighborhood we lived in. I mean, I left my purse in the car all the time. I left, as long as it
She
was,
said it was on the couch.
you're talking about, what purse are we talking about? This purse here?
The big plastic one.
The blue one.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a blue purse. Now, I don't know if it
The one
was,
that was thrown in your car that morning, along with that other stuff.
that stuff was in there all night. And it was just
But your cell phone was in there, though.
No, that was not my cell phone that was in the couch. It's my husband, but I wanted it. I wanted his cell phone because
All I'm concerned about what was in the car. How did all that stuff
it was
get
in
thrown
there.
in a bag and thrown in your car?
Well, because actually, I know how I got there. I was supposed to go take my son to a basketball game, and I couldn't get
Saturday.
right. And I had to go ask the lady next door, could I get her?
No, that's not, no. The address book with everybody's names in that.
The
Was
black
in the
book.
back, the big black 3-ring
But I
binder.
kept my stuff
Why
in
would
the
that
car.
still be in the car? Why would that be up there?
Because people have a choice on what they want to keep inside their car, Mr. Ross.
Yes, they do. They certainly do.
And that's
When their
not-
house is on fire, people will throw stuff in the back. They will grab items that are important. Everything they can think of.
I wasn't
That's
thinking
what it
about-
looked like. That's what the
No.
fire department said too.
No, I wasn't trying. That stuff was in because I remember when I was trying to dress my husband on Saturday, and he slipped into my
At
arms.
4:30 in the morning, when Sterling said, that was the last thing you heard him say that morning, wasn't it?
No, not when he was on the floor.
The last thing that Sterling Fouché probably said was, "Are you leaving?" or something. That's what, something happened around that time.
Was I leaving?
He was not talking during that fire. He was not talking during the fire.
I know.
Hmm?
I'm sorry. I'm just.
You what?
Now it's like you're saying I'm lying about everything, and I don't like to feel that
I'll
way.
say,
You know, because I know that my personal stuff usually is in the car a whole lot. I'm always in a hurry. I'm always constantly in a hurry. I have to take care of my grandmother, take care of my son. I have a
Something
lot of
else
stuff.
happened in the house that morning. Something else happened. Your husband didn't die by the fire. The fire didn't kill him. Smoke didn't kill him. Something else happened.
I've already told you everything. But, you
No,
know, you've already concluded what you want to think about me or
No,
what
let
has
me tell you
happened.
what I've concluded. I've concluded that there's another story,
Mhm.
and that's the one I want. That I want you to explain what really happened that morning. And I don't, just some other explanation. Because the candle and all of that stuff, your husband didn't die by the fire, Miss Boucher.
My husband was actually on fire,
Yes, he was.
okay? So you can't say that he was...
Yes, we can. I can say that. The medical examiner will say that.
Okay.
That there was, I'll explain to you, there was no soot. I want an explanation for that. I want an explanation on how somebody can lie in that smoke-filled room, in the bed, on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Most of Sterling burns happen on the bed, by the way.
No, because, I mean, what are you talking about, like his body burns?
Mm-hmm.
Sterling pretty much got burned when I was trying to get him out of that room.
He didn't die by the fire.
There
has to be something else. There has to be something
If you
else.
want me to take the polygraph test, I don't mind taking that, but I'm not going to sit here and let you make me feel worse than I already feel from the fact that I lost my husband. And, you know, and that's not fair to me. You know, I am here trying to tell you, you're saying I'm not, and I really, really, you know, don't know what else. I mean, if you want to do that today, that's fine, but I really need to pick my son up. I mean, somebody else can see you, so, you know, but I'm not, I've been sitting here for hours and hours and everything.
You're the only other person to
Right.
talk to about it. You
I
know what?
understand, and I'm not mad at you at all.
I know you're not.
And I'm not, you know, like I've told you from day
But
one.
you should be. But you sure should be.
Well,
I think you should
God,
be.
well, you know what?
Ms. Boucher, I know you've got a temper. I've talked to all the hospital staff. I know that you can be rude if you want to be
why?
rude.
Because they think because my husband's in that wheelchair that he can accept anything. So no, I don't have a
What does that
temper.
mean?
You know, like I would call them and tell them that my husband needs emergency medical supplies. They say, well, he can come down and get them himself. I say, well, he's on the toilet. And I would say that's not fair. I mean, so if he's 100% service connected, why can't I be able to get something as an emergency? So, you know, a lot of people at the VA did not like me because I was really tough and really stern about him having everything he always ever
That's the
needed.
point I just made.
Right.
That's
So
the
no,
point
it's
I
no.
just made.
But the thing is, there's a difference between being stern with someone so my husband can get the things that he needs and just being a beast. You know, that hospital is full of. My husband never went to that hospital often because he didn't like anyone there. He said everybody was messy or like soap operas. The only people he liked in that hospital was Andre Cunningham, and he had a few other people that he talked to. But he didn't just go to that hospital and then hang out every single day on the spinal cord side. He went over into the clinic where Andre Cunningham worked.
He volunteered there, didn't he?
No. He stopped volunteering there like last year.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
But he did it every now and then because he wanted points for skin.
Let's go over them one more time, just for granted. Just one more time. What time did you wake up?
About what time?
And did Sterling wake you up by asking you that or not? How did?
He heard me get up. And then of course he knew that if I leave, then he wanted to remind me.
And at that time, he has a comforter and a pillow over his face.
That he did at that time.
So you're just now remembering that? Because I've asked you that several times. We've been over that.
No, you asked me, do you have a comforter and a pillow on his head when I got ready to, when you were talking to me about the comforter pillow, I was thinking when I got
You
off the
remember,
couch.
we didn't know, you told us, you brought the pillow up.
Yes,
The first
I
time.
did, because we were talking about all the different kind of pillows that he used to keep. But what I'm saying is, my husband always kept a comforter and a pillow over his head every single night he went to sleep. And sometimes he didn't keep a comforter over, he kept the pillow over his head. But I thought you meant that he had the comforter and the pillow over his head when I left off the couch and went back into the room.
I do. That's what I mean.
I thought you meant when I got out of bed. Like when I was getting out of the bed on the other side of him, because I slept in the bed with him.
When did he have it over his face?
At that time, when I got out the first
So
time,
when you-
but I went in that room twice. You have to think about that. I mean, because I was already in
You have
the
to tell me that.
Okay, I was already in the room and sleeping. So while he's already asleep, that stuff is on him. Then I went into the living room, I laid on the couch. Then when I had to go back in there, because of what was going on, the pillow and the comforter was not there. The pillow was still laying there,
So
but,
when
it
there's
wasn't but it wasn't on his face.
There is a, all right, let's go to the fire. When you wake up, you smell smoke, you hear him yelling, you go in the room, where the pillow and comforter, or is his face showing then?
Yes, his face is showing at that point.
And there's a candle, a little small fire on the bed, like this.
Right.
A fire like that.
Yeah, on the comforter. Not anywhere else, but
So you
on the
picked the candle up first?
I moved it out the way because it needed to be moved out the way. And then once I drug the comforter off, and my first reaction was, before this fire gets really, really bad, I need to get Sterling out of his bed. Because it had spread it to his sweatshirt, which was at the bottom. So I grabbed him from up under his arm. The way you have your arms up is the way he had his arms up a little bit. And I grabbed him, I started pulling. He said, hurry. He kept telling me to hurry. And I pulled him to the floor.
And then, now his shirt is on fire.
Yes,
His sweatshirt is on fire.
It hadn't gotten all the way up there, so that's why I grabbed him really fast. The hospital table was right there, and it was in the way. So I moved it, and then I started dragging
And the
him.
comforter is burning too.
Right. There is a plant that's set right next to that little table.
Just
Now,
to play,
okay, wait a minute.
I
There
don't
was
care
two
quarterback.
plants.
Why didn't you just put him out? Why didn't you just take something, throw one of the pillows over his chest, put him out, and we're in here talking to Sterling? Why?
First of all, there was 2 candles burning, because I know you asked me about that. Remember you asked me. Remember you asked me about. It's irrelevant to what we're talking about. But remember you asked me, why did I say there was a candle burning on the end table? There was a big Chinese candle on the end table.
What does that have to do with?
Because you asked me a minute, like maybe 30 minutes ago, you told me that there was a candle on the end table. And not the
You said
bedside
that's where the
table.
candle, that's where
There
the
was
candle
two.
came from.
Right, well, no, we had 2. There was a big Chinese candle on the end table, and then there was an actual candle that was burning down that he used to smoke.
What did that, the second candle, have to do with what I just said about his shirt being on fire?
Nothing. I just was letting you know because I thought you assumed that I was only saying the candle was on the end table. You told me the candle was on the end table. And I said, no, I told you it was on the bedside.
Who said, why didn't you take a pillow, put it on his chest, and we done?
Because I was panicking, Mr. Wall. I mean, when someone is panicking, you know, in my mind, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm supposed to know how to use a fire extinguisher. You know, I'm supposed to grab more water. There's a lot of things that I go back in my mind that I should have done.
Yeah, it's easy to do that. You're right.
You know, but, you know, when you're panicking, you do everything wrong, it seems like. I mean, I was doing everything backwards, it seemed like, because if I knew how to use a fire extinguisher, I could have gotten the fire quicker. If I had gotten more water, I could have gotten out quicker.
But you know what? All of that doesn't matter. You know why that doesn't matter? Because Sterling was already dead.
My husband was not dead when he was in that bed. He was not dead, and I'm not going to let you sit there and tell me he was dead. I know for a fact that he was not dead when
If
he
there
was
was
in that
a
bed.
fire burning at that time,
My husband was not dead in that bed. My husband, when I got into the floor and I was talking to the fire department, I knew my husband was dead because he asked me to help him. So if he was dead when he came out
on
of
the
the
floor,
bed,
he's asking you to help.
yes. I swear to God.
It's impossible.
I'm sorry. That's what happened. That's what happened. And I mean, whatever you might say has happened, I know because I was there, and I know that that's what he said.
You're right. You're the only one that knows what happened.
You know.
You're the only one that knows what the real truth.
Right. Well, no, God knows the real truth. I'm just telling you what happened.
It's twice you mentioned God in this deal.
I mean, I love God. I mean, it's not that I'm a Christian like I should be. I'm not trying to boast it or bring it up in your face the way Gary came there and said, I'm a Christian, I'm a church pastor.
What, tell me about Gary, what's Gary, just because of the money?
The Gary.
Yeah, I didn't understand the Gary story, but you felt like he blew a bunch of Sterling's money, or what?
Well, yeah, Sterling spent a lot of money with Gary, because Gary was living in an apartment off of,
Who paid Sterling's house note?
the,
Who would pay it? Did he pay it, or did you pay it, or what?
we both paid the bills. I mean, my husband paid the house note, he would pay lights, gas, and I would pay like the water bill, the
Then
phone.
how did he get behind on a house note that was just refinanced?
Because we still had to pay, actually, the finance, the house note went up. It was $1,000, it went up to 15. I have no idea why, but it went up.
The credit got bad.
No, probably the bankruptcy. The first bankruptcy.
So what time do you have to pick up Andre? Trey?
At 2 o'clock.
Excuse me, real fast.
I really was gonna, I'm sorry, I'm gonna drink it. I was so thirsty.
You want something to drink or not?
No, I mean, I know you probably thought that was awful. You might have
No, When you walk, you know what's bugging me? Is you walk into the house, into the room, it's not that big a fire. There's not much, there's no fire. Basically, throw the comforter just being thrown on the floor is for taking care of that. If it's what you say. What is there to panic? If he's done this before, why panic?
Well, no, actually, this once before wasn't as bad. I mean, it was just like,
Oh, no, there's a fire, but it's, I don't understand what was so serious, because actually the delay is the problem.
Right,
The delay is the problem.
right.
And your husband suffocated, and that he suffocated. He died of suffocation, not smoke inhalation, died of suffocation.
Okay.
Okay? What do you mean, okay?
I mean, I'm just listening to you.
So? Suffocation. That's like somebody taking a pillow and putting it over your face and you die. What was there to panic over? You take the pill, throw the comforter off, you should be done.
It didn't go up like
Okay? The comforter caught fire more. But you throw a pillow over him and you drag him out of the bed on the linoleum floor, right?
But it's kind of, I mean, that's probably what you could
Oh, I
have done.
understand. It's easy to sit here and put and armchair quarterback this deal. But this is life or death, so that's what I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. This is life or death. This is death, that's all. Because he couldn't do it.
Of course.
He died of suffocation. Was somebody else in there suffocating him? Was somebody else in that house?
No.
Well, then what was over his face? Because he was dead before that room filled with smoke.
The only thing that fell on my husband was that plant. Now, as far as you saying that someone suffocated my husband, that's awful.
It is awful. It is awful.
But, you know,
You're right. So you won't do a polygraph today?
I mean, I have no problem with doing anything you ask of me, Mr. Wall. All I'm saying is, you asked me to come down here.
You're here? Thank you.
And you did, you know, but
I told
whatever
you
you
the
asked
first
me to
day
do.
my job is to be suspicious.
of course.
And I have a lot more reasons to be suspicious now.
Okay.
I do. I mean, I do. We have a reason. Because I can't explain why.
I mean, if you want me to come back this afternoon, that's fine. Like I said, my belt popped off of my car. So now I'm riding with I'm using
I
someone's car.
understand that you
And it's
use
actually her husband's car. So now,
I can come get you.
you know, how you want to do it. But I have to take care of my son first. And I have to make sure she doesn't have anything to do with what time she gets off. If she don't mind me using her car, as long as I'm there to pick her
I
up.
can come get you.
And I will call you if I can't get here. I would have you come and get me.
One more thing, and then we'll be done. Let me see what time I can schedule that.
Okay.
What's a good time tomorrow? Get this done.
Tuesday. Is
Yeah.
today Tuesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Thursday.
Oh, I believe me, I'm the same way.
Thursday.
Days are running together.
My son's will be to work at 8.
9:30, 10?
Maybe 10, because they're trying to tow my car over there. If I can drive my own car, I really don't want to use anybody's vehicle.
So you'll be here at 10
We
and do this deal and we'll get out of here.
okay.
Sure. You okay?
It's Thursday.
Hmm?
It's Thursday.
Let's get out of here.
Tara Pouchet is charged with arson and murder. At trial, prosecutors argued that Tara planned to murder Sterling and burn their house down to collect around $250,000 in life and home insurance. She likely strangled or smothered him, then set the fire, thinking it would cover up the homicide. In March 2005, a jury convicts Tara. She is sentenced to 30 years in prison with the possibility of parole.